And then the Chiefs are like, all right, we don't want to get to free agency. We'll pay you. We'll go up to the spot that you want because we don't want to have to negotiate against other teams. They typically don't do that. Brett Veach and his staff typically draw a line in the sand and stay firm to that. I think they may have maneuvered or massaged some of those lines in the sand over the years, maybe with Chris Jones, Trey Smith, maybe with Creed Humphrey. I think there are times when it's like, this is the line that we will draw. All right, we may have to go a little bit over, but let's get it done because it's worth it. They were not willing to go a little bit over for Trent McDuffie on whatever the line in the sand that they drew was clearly not where they and Trent McDuffie were on the same page.
And the contract that he got from the
Woo!
Rams.
4 years, $124 million, so $31 million per year. 100 of the 124 is guaranteed.
Good for him.
Good
Incredible.
for Trent McDuffie. I mean, I'm happy for him. He was a fantastic player in Kansas City for the 4 years that he played. Glad that he got the bag. Happy that the bag was not paid by the Chiefs. I wish he were still a Kansas City Chief. I wish money was no option. I wish it was not, or at least money was no, issue. And the Chiefs were the Dodgers. And there's a soft salary cap, luxury tax, whatever. And you can just go and sign whoever you want. That would be great. And then you could feel great for Trent McDuffie while still being a Kansas City Chief. That's not reality. And the Chiefs' world was not reality of paying $100 million guaranteed to Trent McDuffie. It just isn't. It's also a 5-year deal because the 4 years starts after this 5th year that he's playing on the $13.6 million 5th-year option. So it's technically a 5-year, $137.6 million. But don't let Rams people try to change this and gloss or make this seem like a more affordable deal for the Rams, because I've seen now it's like, well, actually, since he's playing under the 5th-year option, that's only $27.5 million per year that he's making. It's not how extensions work. We've never looked at it that way.
Never have.
He's making $31 million per year. We have never, ever viewed it in extensions as you add in whatever contract they're currently playing on before the, quote, extension starts. We have always, with every other player, viewed it as the extension is the money we view per year. It's 4 years. He's making $31 million per year. Look at over the cap, spot track, any one of them. It's 124, and the annual average value of cornerbacks, McDuffie's at the top at 31, not 4th at 27.5.
It's unlike baseball again, where baseball, they'll do it to buy out arbitration. Those years are now washed away.
Agreed.
That's why you'll see guys sign, like, how do they get so-and-so for, 10 for 70? Well, it's because the first 6 years the guy was going to be making $2 million a year, and so they bought it out to...
The Brewers are getting such a deal with Jackson Churio.
Yeah, it's like, well...
Yes, they are. Because
arbitration.
He hadn't made it to Major League Baseball, and he had 6 years anyway to where, what was he going to make? No idea what he was going to make over those 6 years. You know what he was going to make the first 3? Not much.
So... And that's why it's, again, different. And so if Rams fans tell you that, then they're being willfully obtuse.
Yes, 100%. So we'll get into the Travis Kelce thing here in just a little bit. I do want to pass along some information and news around the Kansas City Chiefs. They've re-signed James Winchester, highest paid long snapper in the league. They have non-tendered. They did not give a tender contract to Mike Caliendo.
Yeah.
So that would have been around $3 million for them to offer the contract to Mike Caliendo. They did not do that. He could return on a cheaper deal. That may be the case. But it was not smart business for the Chiefs to offer Caliendo $3.5 million. So that is not a surprise. They have exclusive rights contracts that I expect them to offer, which is Matt Araiza and Nico Remigio is the other one. Those would be $1.75 million, and if you offer them the contract, they have no choice but to sign it. So this is not a, we'll offer you a contract, you go somewhere else. Exclusive rights means you offer them league minimum, they have to sign it.
Yeah.
Unless they want to retire. So if they offer, I'm guessing Araiza will return. Remigio's an interesting one, but I don't see why you wouldn't, for a guy that could be your 6th or 7th wide receiver on your team for 1.75 as a emergency, hopefully, 2nd or 3rd choice kick and punt returner. Fine player for $1.75 million. I'm okay with that. I would also understand if they don't offer him and they move on from him. I would understand either way. I'd be fine with it either way. It's just their wide receiver room is Rice, Worthy, Royals, and Brownlee. Remigio walks. Okay, it's still those 4. Remigio's exclusive rights free agent. Okay, he's part of that wide receiver room. We'll see what happens moving forward. They certainly could give him that contract and then release him when the season starts or when cut down happens and then try to sneak him over to the practice squad. And then, hey, you got to eat some of that money. But again, we are right now, Sterling, until the draft. For some of these guys, we are in insurance policy waters.
Yes. Real quick, too, with James Winchester, because when you said, and I think when people hear highest paid long snapper.
$20 million a year. Can you believe that?
1.75.
But
it's literally what the Nico Remigio would get if they.
I had already penciled it in at $20 million. They got a bargain. I counted him as $20 million against the cap.
I will say
now the Chiefs can go do whatever they want. I say now you sign Pierce and Evans since you got Winchester at such a great deal.
I was surprised that the highest paid long snapper was 1.75.
I was surprised that it was said as James Winchester becomes the highest paid long snapper.
Yeah, and I was like, oh wow, was it 3? I was thinking like maybe
Good
3 mil, 3 to 4.
Also, great job if you can find it.
Seriously, that is
for
the
$2 million a year. Getting paid $2 million to long snap. Not an easy job. Nothing, Kendall, I get it. It is not an easy job. But boy, what a great job.
I would
now that you can't be hit, now that they have to, now they're protecting the, it's different when Kendall used to get punched in the face. He'd be bent over and they would slam right into his back. That'd be different. Now they can't touch him. Now you get a free snap, then you stand up and play a little patty cake for a little bit, you know? Then you got to go down and cover some kicks on a punt. But that's really it. Oh, what a great job. Great job. And not easy to cover the punts. I mean, Kendall Gammon broke a leg, covering a punt. And also starring in a play. So one was bad, one was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he did. He was jack of all trades, was Kendall Gammon. So that's the news with the Chiefs. We are 45 minutes away from teams being able to tamper legally. There. 913-912-4810. We'll talk with Mick Schaefer coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. We've left the show kind of open because we don't know what's going to happen over the next 3 hours until we talk with Mick Schaefer. Or 4 hours even. We don't know what's going to happen when we talk with Mick Schaefer. Who knows? Yeah. We are going to, in the next segment, though, I'm hoping this will be fun, we're going to do a free agent draft. So Michael, Sterling, and myself, we will draft 5 players. We'll do it just as a snake draft, just as you would do in a fantasy draft. And the 5 players we are drafting are free agents we think the Chiefs will sign. It could be, connected to Chiefs that you want them to sign. Also realistic, because the exercise to me is not I want him to go get Evans and I'm going to draft Mike Evans. Well, you don't actually get that player. All right, the Chiefs don't then go and sign that player. I want to do this because it would give us 15 players that the 3 of us would come up with. And how many do the Chiefs end up with? Who has the best 5? Do they end up with any of them? I think I do, but we don't know who's going to draft what. We have no idea.
I'm taking your guys, dude.
Oh, damn it. So it's Mr. Steal Your Free Agent over here, Sterling Holmes. No longer Mr. Steal Your Girl. It's the remix.
It's the remix. Shoot.
Mr. Steal Your Draft.
Now another dumb song I have to do.
Oh, it's Mr. Steal Your Draft. So we'll do that coming up in the next segment. Michael, you got your 15 ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
Good. Sterling, you got your 15?
Fact.
Nice. Leisure. So we'll do that in the next segment. We'll also talk some college basketball today, whether you like it or not.
No.
Depends on who you are. Mizzou, K-State, maybe not like it. KU, perfectly fine with it, probably as the 3 seed, playing at 8:30 on Thursday night. Oh, yeah. Come on now. How about an 11:15 end time, huh? Maybe a little overtime Hopefully not. Todd, how you liking that, Lebo? How you liking that, Leebs? You got an early Friday morning call? Because you got a late Thursday night game you're covering.
Why are you Kirk Cousins him?
Cousinsing him?
Cousinsing him.
Cousinsing him? What do you mean?
You like that?
You like that, Lebo. You like that.
How do you say it? Kirk Cousins.
Cousinsing.
Cousinsing. Yeah, that's
Kirk
that's
Cousinsing.
tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I, from a strictly selfish standpoint, I would have loved on Thursday, whether the show or not. I mean, just from a, like, honestly, I mean, we joked about whether we would have a show or not if KU played at 11:30. But regardless of that, let's say our show is, 6 to 10 a.m. Like if there was a show on the station that was from 6 to 10 or something. I'm not sure if there is. There is. It's a great one. But from a selfish standpoint, basketball fan, God, 11:30 on Thursday, KU Iowa State would have been amazing. Would have been awesome. The scene around Kansas City that morning, around the Power and Light, that morning and into the afternoon, would have been fantastic. Obviously, if your team lost, maybe not stay around and hang out and have fun, or maybe drink your sorrows away. Obviously, it's best if one of those teams doesn't leave on Thursday, but it would have been a great scene on Thursday with KU and Iowa State.
Yeah.
Because that place would have been packed and sold out, and what a great day just to take a vacation day if you're a KU. Well, if you're an Iowa State fan, you're probably already down there anyway with a vacation day this week. But we'll talk some college basketball. We'll talk about how the SEC tournament sets up. Mizzou without a double bye. They went from the 4 seed to the 8 seed by losing in overtime to Arkansas. And they went from a 4 seed and having a double bye to an 8 seed in which they will more than likely, depending on if there's an upset or not, in the night before on Wednesday, or day before, Wednesday afternoon, they will more than likely play at 11:30 on Thursday against the Kentucky Wildcats in Nashville, which will be a road game for Mizzou. That's what they have set themselves up. They lost a home game to Arkansas, which will more than likely result in an SEC tournament game in a road atmosphere. I'm telling you, I covered that tournament almost every year for about 5, anytime it was in Nashville, we went down and covered that tournament. When Kentucky plays, Bridgestone is roughly 80 to 90% blue. Mizzou will be the road team. Now, the other 10 to 20% that are in there will be rooting for Missouri because essentially they're rooting against Kentucky. So Vandy fans, Tennessee fans, Missouri fans that make the trip, all of them will be rooting for Missouri, but it will be 80 to 90% Kentucky fans that'll be there. Now, it hasn't been the most exciting season for UK fans. I don't think they will pack the arena on Wednesday at 11:30 against LSU, but I think if they win, they will say, all right, now let's head down there Thursday, get by Mizzou, get ready for a Florida and Kentucky game on Friday. Whereas Mizzou, what they have set themselves up for is you get Kentucky in a road atmosphere, and if you win, hey, you get Florida.
Yeah, it's a real big bummer that they fell. That loss to Arkansas was detrimental in a multitude of ways, just in how it happened, obviously, as well, but just how it sets up for the SEC. Again, I still think they're in the tournament, even if they lose to Kentucky game 1. I still think they're in, but the point still remains, you did yourself no favors by giving yourself the hardest path. The only way you can view it is, well, now you have a chance to face 2 good teams, because to me,
I think you need to win on Thursday to not be sweating on Sunday. I think they're still on the inside looking out, but this is bid thief week, and that's what you need. Miami of Ohio to win the conference tournament.
Everyone has been falling, though, on the bubble as well. It hasn't been. Auburn loses by double digits, and somehow they move up.
Yep.
Nice job, Lenardi.
Yep.
But, I mean, if you were even a 7 seed, you're playing either Texas or Ole Miss.
Yep.
And then you play Bama. Again, it's not great who you're going to play next, but playing either Vandy or Arkansas versus Florida or Bama is a pretty wide difference if you were to get past the first game. And yeah, that was
it happens.
Kicking the stones.
It happens.
Kicking the Jaden Stones.
That's exactly right. Yes, and he had some big shots. He had some rough games too, or rough moments as well. But there you go. Mark Mitchell. I felt bad for him on senior night that they couldn't come away because man, he left it all out there on the court.
Yes,
and even more. And you wish he had a little bit more in the tank on a couple of last shots that rolled around and fell out.
Yeah.
An offensive rebound that wasn't there, a closeout on Brazil. Like, I'm not going to remember Mark Mitchell for those things in that game. I'll remember him being a dominant player throughout. And honestly, I mean, there are a lot of different ways and areas that I think Dennis Gates might want back. And I would guess finding opportunities at whether it's the under 12 or the under 8 or the under 4, get him out with 13 and a half, get him out with 9. There was a timeout at like 9:05 or a free throw at like 9:05. Get him out at that point. And
he was gassed, man. I mean, you just saw it even towards the end of the.
Also put Sean Phillips in for that rebound instead of Mark Mitchell on the block against Ewing.
Also
There's no reason Sean Phillips should have been on the bench when you need that rebound.
Yeah.
You need that rebound. It's a one-possession game. You need it. Now, are you trying to avoid Sean Phillips rebounding the ball and then them fouling him? Maybe, but you think that they're thinking of that immediately? Like, oh, Sean has the ball, let's foul him, especially Ewing, I think, who has 4 at that point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that should have happened. We can talk about some of those particulars, but the bigger picture is Mizzou still on the inside looking out. Those bubble teams have to make noise this week. I think Mizzou and Mizzou fans will be scoreboard watching on the other bubble teams to see how they do, while also rooting for the teams that are already going to get at-large bids to win their conference tournament and not to have a bid thief like Cincinnati coming into Kansas City and winning.
Yeah.
You don't want that to happen. They're playing better basketball certainly than they were earlier in the season. You don't want them to get hot and make a run through the conference tournament. You don't want a UNI type team in some of these multi or one bid leagues or 2 bid leagues that already. You don't want the West Coast Conference to be won by anybody but Gonzaga and St. Mary's if need be.
Yeah.
You want Miami of Ohio to win the MAC. You need those things to happen. You don't want some random. You don't want an NC State from a few years ago that made the run through the ACC tournament and got in. These are things that you need to avoid if you're Missouri. I think if you're Auburn and some of those teams that are really, really on the bubble, you need those things to fall in your favor. Mizzou, I do believe a number of things would have to happen against them for them to be out, but we're not in the committee room.
No.
We can look at all these different bracketologists and say, well, they've got this and they've got that, and this is where Mizzou is there. It doesn't mean that that's what's going on inside the room. Inside the room, you may have a group of people, Sterling, that really value non-conference and really want to credit a team for challenging themselves in the non-conference.
And getting blown up by 30.
That's exactly right.
3 different times.
I agree with that. Not necessarily Auburn, but it may be.
No, it is Auburn.
I know.
It is Auburn. They congrats on scheduling 3 great teams and getting blown out by 30 to Michigan.
But I mean,
nice, guys.
But I'm not talking about Auburn. I'm just saying Missouri doesn't have that in their bag. They don't have that in their back pocket. Where if there is another team on the bubble that they say, yeah, but this team went out and challenged themselves more, they got, I'll win, whatever. I'm just saying we aren't in the room and we don't know what is being valued by certain people that will argue for what they think is a tournament team. Is it a team that you think has really good wins, so it's a tournament team that can make a run? Who knows what's in there? Because that would suffice. That would be great for Mizzou. No bad losses and really good wins. That sounds like a tournament team to me with a bad non-conference schedule, right? But they also then went and played 19 games, maybe 20, in conference play. 18 of them so far, 19 of them on Thursday, 20 if they win. I doubt they get by Florida in Nashville, but 19 or 20 games, or 21, that they would have played in conference of their 31, 30, 32 or 33 games is what they would have had. So we'll get into that as well, a little bit more of a breakdown. But yeah, it was a rough day on Saturday for Mizzou. Let's go around real quick before we get into our free agent draft on the other side of the break. I just want a percentage chance with the 3 of us of Travis Kelce returning to the NFL not in a Chiefs uniform. Sterling, what percentage chance do you give it?
Less than 1.
So what are you going with?
0.05. Not even 0.5. 0.05.
Okay. So not even 0.5, not even a half. Okay.
Correct.
0.05. Okay.
Like 3%.
3%. All right. I put it at 4.7, less than 5%. And the only reason I put it at 4.7 at all over 0 is if the Cleveland Browns are willing to do something stupid and offer him like $20 million, and the Chiefs are offering like $7 million, and he returns. Okay, well, there you go. Ian Rappaport says Chiefs future Hall of Famer. I put it at 0% that Travis Kelce.
Yeah, I was right.
No, you put it at 0.05. You were wrong. Travis Kelce is expected to return to Kansas City for a 14th season, a message that's been delivered to teams who will want him. It's an odd way of phrasing it. Hey, you want him? He's going to return to Kansas City, so too bad. So just say he's returning to Kansas City.
So again, 0.05.
Ooh, good point.
You know why? If the Chiefs disband, then
oh yeah, that's a good point.
That's it.
So Sterling is saying there's a 0.05% chance of the Chiefs wrapping up shop and no longer being in the NFL.
That's the only possible
Yes. Okay.
scenario I'm seeing here.
Here's what I was going to go with. Why I put it at 4.7% is that if the Browns did something stupid and Travis Kelce said, you know what, I'm not going to finish my career in a Chiefs uniform, but it was a childhood dream to wear a Browns uniform.
That's no childhood's dream.
For him, it was. For him, he and Jason to grow up and play for the Cleveland Browns.
I never want to win a game.
I would say here, you know what I would say if they had the number one pick and they were taking Mendoza, I would think there would be a better chance of Kelce going, you know what, I'll be a Brown, and I feel like there's at least a quarterback that I can be around, finish my time in Cleveland, and call it a career. But so at 36, Kelce says, Ian Rappaport says Kelce is loyal to KC and he will stay. Again, that was the only scenario I saw. Like people were talking about the Giants or whoever, and I'm like, he's not going to play for the Giants and John Harbaugh. It's not going to happen. He's not going to say, I'm going to return one more year and not be with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs unless it was the Browns. But that quarterback situation is so terrible that there's no way you would go, my final year is going to be playing like the last 3 games of the season was. Without Mahomes, that quarterback play. Minshew for a drive. Good God, I'm already forgetting his name.
Oladokin.
Oladokin, right.
Shane Buechele.
Like he's not gonna do that in Cleveland. So he's going to return to the Kansas City Chiefs. So I think we all were wrong on that. Well done. No, we were all pretty much right. He's not returning to the NFL for one more year.
But who's the most right?
You know what? Collectively, I think we were all right. I think collectively we were all right. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We will go through a free agent draft. Travis Kelce returning to the Kansas City Chiefs. As Ian Rappaport put out there, expected to return to the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, and we will go through our free agent draft. We'll each take 5 players, snake draft, on who we think the Chiefs will sign. Not, hey, here's who I want the Chiefs to sign. We're just trying to come up with some sort of a prediction on who will be out there. Real quick, Travis Kelce, Ian Rappaport saying, Travis Kelce would have commanded top dollar in the tight end market, but he'd rather stay with the Chiefs, catch passes from Mahomes, and have a shot at another Super Bowl. So it sounds like Kelce is taking less money than would have been available to him in free agency. That's not a surprise. He doesn't fit the bill of a guy playing 1 or 2 more years in a different jersey from what he had played his entire career. It doesn't fit the bill to leave somewhere. Get a big payday one last time. He's got tons of money, made over $100 million, and he's got Taylor Swift. Chasing a ring. He's not chasing a ring. Wanting to be a bigger focal point of an offense. He's been the focal point of this offense. Those different things you look at, it doesn't fit the mold of this guy played his entire career for this team, and then he's going to leave for a year or 2. It's not the case. And Travis Kelce looks like he's returning for less money than he would have been offered on the open market. We'll take a timeout. More Zone next. All right, man, if you're out there and you suffered from erectile dysfunction, maybe it happened one time, you laughed it off, no big deal, ha-ha, and then it started to happen a little bit more. Well, you know what? There's no reason to wait around and hope that it will fix itself, because odds are that is not going to be the case. Heartland Men's Health is here to help. They have treatments that work with success rates well over 90%. And maybe, you know what? You've tried the pills or the herbals and they have failed. Well, Heartland Men's Health treatments work when that happens. There are so many different underlying conditions that can result in ED. Simply schedule a consult with Heartland Men's Health today. Your initial visit, it's only $99. That includes a medical consult with a licensed medical provider, a T and PSA test, and if medically advised, you're going to get a test dose. And if the test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit, it's free. If it does, there you go. They've got an expert staff with 3 locations to serve you: Overland Park, Independence, between Blue Springs and Lee Summit, and North Kansas City. Call them today at 844-447-6600. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, 844-447-6600, or visit heartlandmenshealth.com. All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. 23 minutes away from tampering. The Falcons are apparently making a strong push for Tua Tagovailoa. Backup quarterback, also left-handed to their starting quarterback. I think that actually kind of matters. You know, Michael Penix is lefty. Tua Tagovailoa is lefty. Both of them probably overdrafted, so we'll see what happens with that. Let's get into our draft. Speaking of drafts, we're going to do a free agent draft here. We've all come up with at least 15 players because we're going to draft 5 of them. These are players we think the Chiefs will sign. Not necessarily players we think the Chiefs should sign or we're excited about it or would be our preference. And these have to be realistic because the exercise is to simply see how many of the 15 we ended up with. And current Chiefs or Chiefs that were Chiefs before can't be on it. So your number 1 pick can't be Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not players who were under contract with the Chiefs before. These are all outside.
James Winchester.
James Winchesterson Fieldville is not one of them. Damn it, my first pick was Caliendo. Oh, son of a gun. Although he could still resign. All right, so we've got this spinner wheel here with 3 names on it.
Spin that wheel.
Those 3 names happen to be Jason, Sterling, and Michael, so luckily we found the right wheel. We're going to tap it. We're going to spin it. And here it goes, the first pick in the draft. Drum roll. Sterling gets the first pick, and he just said, I want the 3rd pick.
I want the 3rd pick.
Well, you know what? You're going to get the snake coming back around.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to defer. With the first pick, I defer.
No chance. All right, now,
Okay.
2nd pick in the draft. Jason and Michael, drum roll, please. It's going to go. No, Jason! 2nd pick in the draft, me, Michael, will get the 3rd pick in the draft. So,
I feel like the Chiefs just picking last every year.
yes. So, I need to switch my thingy up here to the names. I will have the 2nd pick. All right, Sterling Holmes with the 1st pick in the 2026 zone free agent draft of realistic players we think the Chiefs will sign. You go with, sir?
Etienne.
Trevor Etienne. They trade for the
Travis.
Well, you know
Etienne.
what? Let's be a little more specific here. Travis Etienne for Sterling Holmes. Let me mark that guy.
I know
off.
there's smoke about Kenneth Walker, but there was also smoke about Etienne. I think Walker's going to be more expensive, so I still think Etienne is the number 1
All right.
realistic choice.
I had Etienne as my number 2, which means that my number 1 is available since I've got the number 2 pick. I'm going to go Boye Mafe for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Makes sense.
They sign Boye. What a signing it would be.
He will now be crossed off my list.
Well, yes, we all probably had Boye Mafe somewhere. Michael, your first selection is?
My 1 and 2 are gone.
Okay,
so I will
yeah.
go Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, those were my 3. Was I had Mafe, Etienne, Walker.
That's my 1, 3, and 4.
Okay. So now your 2nd pick in the draft, Michael Darcy.
This one I think is the most realistic. I'm going
Okay.
to go Marcus Mariota.
Shoot, that's a really good one. He was not on my list. I didn't even think about backup quarterback. That's the best one here.
He's one of the 17 or 18 players that I have listed. It's just a matter of when
Probably
I was going to get to
shouldn't
him.
have gotten to him at 2.
No,
but
that's a good call because he's gonna. I do think he's the one signed.
I wasn't going to go backup
highest
quarterback.
percentage.
I was going to treat backup quarterback as like a kicker in the draft. It was going to be my last pick if Mariota or another player were there.
Darcy, that was phenomenal. Darcy,
We'll see until he signs with
We'll see, yeah.
the Bucks.
I like it, dude.
Breaking news, Mariota going to the Falcons. No, I'm joking. My pick now. It's my pick, Sterling. It's my pick. I've got the 2nd pick.
Son of a, okay, fine.
Gosh. Since I went defense there, man, I really think it's Etienne. So now I've got to decide what I want to do here because I think it's Etienne. So I'm going to switch something up here. My number 4 is still available, but I'm actually going to go to my number 5. I'm going to go Roy Lopez.
Okay.
Defensive tackle from Detroit, a run-stuffing defensive tackle, a no longer dealing with the Noddy and Pinnells, just simply sign the dude, 3 years, younger player, and get it done, and have your early career Derek Noddy.
Yeah.
And call it a day. So I'm going to go Roy Lopez, and I'm actually going to skip over my number 4. And if he's there later, I'll come back and get him. Sterling, your 2nd pick and 3rd.
Well, I'm going with Kwity Paye because I want the Chiefs to pay, and I need to quitty these jokes. But I really think that the Chiefs should go after Kwity Paye.
It's not should. It's who
I know.
you think they will.
I still think that Kwity Paye.
Okay.
If they cannot get Boye Mafe, I think Kwity Paye is next in line. I will also go defensive tackle. And I'm sorry because it's probably your guy. I think he makes a lot of sense for a Bronco.
John Franklin Myers.
John Franklin Myers.
He was on my list. It's all good.
He might be overpaid, or he might get priced out of that market. But if the market doesn't come to fruition for him, I think John Franklin Myers makes a ton of sense in Kansas City.
You know what makes sense for John Franklin Myers? I can see a scenario where the edge market gets stupid and the Chiefs go, okay, well, then we're going to switch. We're going to go from maybe drafting interior defensive line because it's a deeper draft with interior defensive line, or excuse me, it's a deeper draft with edge rushers, not as deep with interior defensive line, that maybe the Chiefs were looking early for defensive tackle, that the edge market in free agency has priced them out, that then they switch and say, well, let's just go get a stud defensive tackle and put him next to Chris Jones. And then when Chris Jones moves on after a year, this guy then is the Chris Jones moving forward.
And I don't think they get both Quiddy and John Franklin Myers, but to me, I think
you're hedging your bet.
But I'm hedging my bet if I think they get one of them.
I like it.
You're not paying for both. That's just too much.
For sure. Man, there's a player that I really want them to go sign, but I'm not sure that they do, at least for the third pick. I'm going to go with Etienne and Walker getting priced out. So I'm going to go running back and Rashad White.
Yeah.
That's going to be my third selection. Those are really the only three that I'm looking at that they're – I mean, Algier I think could be there. We'll see, but Algier wasn't in my top 15. It was Etienne, Walker, and Rashad White if I'm ranking the running backs of what I think are the likely.
Etienne 1, Walker 3. Algier was 11. I had to go before my next running back. I had to go to 11 before I thought
Yeah, but just ranking my top 3 running backs, I think it's – Etienne, Walker, and Rashad White in realistic what I think the Chiefs will do.
Yeah.
I may go Algier, maybe cheaper than Rashad White, over Rashad White because I think you're getting probably a better value and maybe piecing a couple of them together. We'll see. Your third and fourth pick, Michael Darcy.
I think the Chiefs are going to try to address the secondary. So my third pick is Andre Sisco, the safety from New York.
I love that
like
one,
that one a lot. Yeah,
I love it, dude.
Or he's almost 26.
Yep.
I almost guarantee the Chiefs are going to find some safety. It was between him and Jimmy Ward. I just took Sisco. And then I'm going to say Logan Hall out of Tampa Bay.
Man, that was another one I had. I was choosing between Lopez and Logan Hall. That's a good one.
Darcy might have the best, most realistic list here.
I mean,
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
I don't think any of these guys are really realistic.
I think Sisco's
they have to be.
a great call.
Kenneth Walker's realistic.
And I
maybe
mean,
him.
Sisco is, to me, Sisco, if Brian Cook leaves, there are 2 safeties that I listed on my 17 to 20 players that I was looking at. Sisco was the second of my safeties.
The age is great. That's a guy you could give a 3-year deal to. His market value is like $4 million a year.
Yeah, I went higher with a different safety that I think they may go and get. But I'm not going to go there with this one. If we're looking at likely signings, okay, we're just looking at players that they are likely to sign. I'm going to go Charlie Kolar, tight end, Baltimore Ravens. So we know they're bringing back Travis Kelce, but they need an inline blocker. He's one of the best that's out there. So I was choosing between a fullback or a tight end. I went with tight end and Charlie Kolar. If Kelce didn't return, like if the news came out a little bit ago that Kelce was going to sign somewhere else, which would have been random, my number 1 pick might have been Isaiah Likely.
Yeah.
Like legit. Like instead of Boye Mafe, like my first pick would have been Likely. That they go and sign if the news came out that Kelce was signing with the Browns or Giants or some stupid stuff like that. So I go Charlie Kolar as my 4th pick. Your 4th, and then your last pick.
Yeah, well, they need wide receiver because, well, look at the wide receiver room right now, especially with the uncertainties with Rashee Rice. I think Juju comes back, but we can't use that.
Yep, not
so
using
we can't use that. And so it came down between 3 guys for me.
All right, Romeo Dobbs down for you.
Romeo Dobbs. Yeah. I think Wandale's going to price himself out. I think Wandale's going to get too much.
You do love Wandale.
And I think the third guy I had on my list as a wide receiver was he's probably going back to where he originally was.
Okay.
Keenan Allen.
Romeo Dobbs is off my list there. He was my second wide receiver, though, of what I put down as realistic for the Chiefs to sign. And your number 5 pick?
Oh, number 5.
Last one.
Okay, here's
although we could certainly extend the rounds. I don't care. I've got like tons of players left.
I have somebody left. Yeah, same. Let me throw a dart throw. We talked about secondary help. Safety obviously is a good one. I think Sisco's phenomenal. You took it. I'm going to go with a 6'3" cornerback, guy who I've liked a lot, has been injured, who's bounced around. Benjamin St. Juste. I think
Oh, and I like it.
he's a guy who is 6'3", 200, outside corner. Very high potential with Washington and then the Chargers, but has never been able to consistently do it. You put him with Dave Merritt and Spags, I think they'll be enamored by the body type, and it's going to be a cheap contract.
Do we have enough to go like another round or two?
Yes,
Guys,
I think so.
I've got So let's keep going another round or two while we're coming up to our last picks with Michael and myself. I'm gonna go wide receiver here, and this was the first selection on wide receiver. Not just because that's who I want them to take, but I think the fit makes too much sense, and you're not dealing in the Mike Evans or Alec Pierce market. I'm going Jalen Naylor for wide receiver for the Chiefs. I think the fit is phenomenal, and I think he is an ascending player. And I think once the Chiefs get him in there, if they do, I think they will take advantage of that, and I think he has a chance to become more of a household name than playing behind Jefferson and Addison with the quarterback play they had last year.
I'd be whelmed.
Yes. Oh, I'd be overwhelmed on that one. Your fifth selection, Michael?
The Chiefs have not taken a edge rusher in my list
Yes,
yet.
they haven't.
I'm going to go A.J. Epinesa.
Oh, I like that.
I
nice
think it's a value pick. He kind of screams Spags fit.
You got some nice selections, Michael. I'm not going to lie. You got some nice picks.
Well, hopefully the Chiefs go out there and sign him.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's go at least another round. Who do you have with your sixth selection?
This one is a little bit of a dart throw. They're going to be looking for secondary. I like Greg Newsome, the cornerback from Jacksonville.
I like that one. He was on my list of different players that they may go and get. My sixth round selection, now I'm choosing between safety or cornerback, because both my number one safety and my number one cornerback that I think are realistic are there. If Jalen Watson prices himself out, then I think I'm going to go with a guy who is going to be hopefully around $10 million per year. And it allows them to keep Fulton and Noel Williams on the outside. So I'm going to go Roger McCreary from the Rams, slot cornerback at about 3 years, $30 million. So I will go 26 years old. Usually they like to sign guys that are under 27. He'll be 26 this upcoming season. So I'm going to go Roger McCreary.
Related to Scotty?
Yes. Same guy. Roger McCreary. Who's your sixth selection?
I'm going to go way off the beaten path here because I think it'll be fun. This is actually like the last guy. This is 16th on my list, but because I thought it was fun.
I like it.
I'm just going to go because I think it's we keep hearing talk about tackles, which I've been a little surprised by. I'm going to go with a backup tackle, just breaking in case of emergency.
Okay.
He's cheap. A former Missouri alum, so I wonder if there's going to be a connection.
Shocker.
Well, no, but I do wonder if there's like a connection there of like, hey, we saw him play. He knows he'll be Larry Borum.
Okay.
Larry Borum. He was with the Dolphins, I think, last. He's a better pass blocker than run blocker, and I figure, what's it? 1 for $3 million for your, if more, or Simmons.
Yeah.
If you don't just want to go with only Esapole, you need another guy. I'm gonna go Larry Borum.
Let's go one more round and let's keep having fun. One more round. Sterling, you got anybody else?
Yeah, I'll have a lot of guys left.
Yeah.
Well, then I'll just because I think it's a possibility, I'll go Tyler Algier.
I like it. Tyler Algier. This is so I went cornerback there. I'm going to go safety. I'm going to go Nick Cross for safety.
Nice.
Is who they sign.
It's a good call.
Michael, last pick, and then we got to take a break.
I don't think the Chiefs are going to be in on the Mike Evans of the wide receiver pool, but I really like Darnell Mooney. I think he could fit. He's not super old. That might be a 2-year flyer that they take.
Mooney.
I thought about that one too. He was an interesting one. I thought about. I didn't know if he was too worthy.
Yeah.
He could get so much money in free agency too.
He's such an intrigue because what's he going to get? Because he got that one when he went from the Bears after his last really good year with the Bears, had one really good season with Atlanta, and then somewhat
fell off a little bit.
Yeah.
He took Marcus Mariota. My quarterback, if I would have selected one, was going to be Tyrod Taylor. He was one of the last guys. So if I would have gone quarterback, I think I'd have gone Tyrod Taylor. But I like the Marcus Mariota. I think it may come down to those two guys.
I think Gardner has a good chance of coming back too.
I think he does, but I think they may look more at somebody else. We'll see. I think Mariota is an interesting one. I think Tyrod Taylor might be an interesting one. But just a veteran, solid player. Just throughout his entire career, veteran, solid player. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More Zone next.
This is badass because right now, new FanDuel customers can get up to $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days if your bet loses. Here's how it works. You place a tournament bet using the token. If it does not win, you get up to $300 back in bonus bets every single day for 10 straight days. We're talking college basketball, baby. That's 10 chances to play all tourney long. From game props and money lines to spreads, totals, futures, and more. You can even mix things up with same-game parlays for a shot at a bigger payout. However you want to fill out your bracket, FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the action day after day after day. You know me, love FanDuel. I also love college basketball. This is absolutely perfect. So what are you waiting for? It's time to dance. Head to FanDuel.com/local to sign up today.
21 plus and present in Missouri. Must apply select token each day. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire 7 days after receipt. Tokens are received in increments of 1 per day. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll continue rolling. And legal tampering starts in about 3 minutes from now at 11 o'clock. I hope the Chiefs move their clocks forward. That they're not sitting there going, guys, we got an hour and 3 minutes. Let's really get to the bottom of this. All right. This is crunch time, guys. We're getting to the 11th hour. Hour and 3 minutes to go.
Your oven clock that you don't change for 2 weeks.
Oh, I changed them immediately. I'm too OCD on that, and they've all got to be exactly timed. They all have to be the exact. I can't have one say 10:58 and the other one say 10:59.
Oh, no, okay, I'm with you there. That That drives me
They
insane.
all got to be down to the second. They all have to turn at the same time. Just happens.
Like the clocks here. Like these two clocks.
Yeah, like this one that says 9:58.
This one says 10:51.
There you go. Well, yeah,
They're close.
very, very
Tamper
close.
with it.
Patrick Holmes has posted on Instagram It's a picture of him handing off to No. It's a picture of him and Travis Kelce giving a high five. Or a low five. It's also a picture of them in the tunnel together. So he has posted that there. All right. 913-912-4810. Okay, so legal tampering has opened up. And legal tampering opens up, and the Colts sign Alec Pierce.
That's weird, though, because
returning to Indy right as the legal tampering period opens up. That is interesting. He is going to sign for 4 years, $116 million.
Dude.
Almost $30 million per year for Alec Pierce.
Dude. What? Which probably means Michael Pittman Jr.'s now on the...
Probably. Could be on the trade market, yeah. Or the release market.
And you know my thoughts. I think that the Chiefs should bring in Michael Pittman Jr.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, obviously it just depends on what the cost acquisition is. So legal tampering period has officially opened up, and the first big deal that was made is made by a team re-signing their own player.
$29 million a year.
Man, I wonder how much of that is going to be guaranteed. But Alec Pierce is staying with the Indianapolis Colts, a guy who had a huge breakout season. And you know what? Good for him.
He had 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
You're paying him $29 million for 1,000 yards?
84, 47 receptions, too.
$84 million is going to be guaranteed. $60 million fully guaranteed at signing. Max contract will be 4 for 116 would be the max value that he would get.
Dude is a walking big play, though.
He is,
yeah,
absolutely.
He is 21.3 yards a reception. That's insane.
Yep.
But still.
So the numbers are in on Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce and the Chiefs. This is from Diana Rossini, who also had the report yesterday along with Jesse Newell about the chances of Kelce and whatever the wording was. It says tight end Travis Kelce and the Kansas City Chiefs are working on a deal to bring him back to Kansas City for a 14th season, but nothing has been finalized. It would be a one-year deal worth up to $15 million.
Wow.
Kelce is exploring the market with a few select teams.
How much do you think the up to is?
Well, that's the thing, is $15 million up to $15 million. Like, it could be $10 million with $5 million in
incentives and
different incentives, and I would say
win
unlikely.
the Super Bowl $1 million.
Yeah, like unlikely to be earned incentives is probably the way you would go with that. And I think and we'll see what it ends up being, but Travis Kelce, I think you could pretty easily create some attainable incentives while also being unlikely to be earned. Hell, you can do a Chiefs make the playoffs incentive. And that would be unlikely to be earned because they did not make the playoffs last year. Even though it's likely that they make the playoffs this year, you could go 80 receptions since he had 76. You could do $1 million for 80 receptions, and that would be unlikely to be earned, not likely to be earned. So that would not go on this year's salary cap. It would go on next year's salary cap if he does get to 80. You could have 875 receiving yards because he had 851 or 900, whatever. And that would be the not likely to be earned because he didn't earn it last year. You do 6 touchdowns. So you can make some very reasonable, attainable incentives for Travis Kelce to get, quote, up to $15 million with a decent portion of that could be rolled over into next incentives along the way.
And by the way, this is why I said he's not taking a completely, I mean, it'll still be under market value, but it wasn't going to be a 1 for 5. And we still don't know what the official number is going to be, but you have pride, man. I get he's marrying a billionaire. I understand, but like, it doesn't matter. You don't want to also screw over the rest of the tight end market either. Like we hear Patrick all the time saying, yeah, I want to help the Chiefs out a little bit, but also I'm not going to screw over all my contemporaries who are trying to get paid too.
Yeah. I don't disagree. You know, you go and show up to a get-together camp with your best friends that are also tight ends with a $5 million deal. Now, there is no way that agents would be able to use and teams would be going about saying, okay, Travis Kelce made $5 million, that's the new market. Everybody would understand what the deal is. Just as everybody understood the Aaron Donald contract was a do not retire percentage increase.
Chris Jones
for
didn't
his
get it
deal.
because Chris Jones wanted that.
Yeah, he wanted a more, and he didn't get as much as Aaron Donald. But
It still helped push it up, though.
it helped a little bit. It did help push it up, but it was also understood that this was a do not retire for Aaron Donald. I don't think Travis Kelce, if he were to sign for $5 million with the Chiefs, would mean that, okay, well, now Isaiah Likely is only going to get, 4.5 or 5.5 or 6.
No, but it
or
might bring
Kyle
it down
Pitts.
a little bit.
I don't think it will. I just don't think you're going to be out on the open market and using Travis Kelce as an example when he's returning for 1 year to play one more year, and he's already made over $100 million, and he's got plenty of contracts already and played and got paid a lot of money, and is looking for just one more year to play to finish on the right track, and taking less money allows the team to go and make more free agent signings. I don't think that would be to where, like you're familiar with the housing market. I just can't imagine that being something that would be used, comparatively speaking, the way that you would in any other free agent year. Like Alec Pierce is going to be used with other players.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine if he returned on a cheap deal that then the teams would say, no, we're not paying your tight end this amount of money. And then the agents will go, cool, we'll find somebody who will, because somebody will pay. Kyle Pitts is going to get paid in Atlanta as, the franchise tag. I think Isaiah Likely is going to get money, and Njoku's going to get money. Cade Otton's going to get money. How much they get, we'll see. But I would guess that it wouldn't be impacted if Kelce took a significantly decreased amount of money with a heavy incentive package along with it. Because that's, to me, it's like a void year by putting a lot of incentives that are not likely to be earned.
And we'll see. I think it's still going to be more than people probably want. But
I think the $15 million is
Up to.
is sticker shock when people see $15 million, but the up to is doing a lot of heavy lifting on that. So that's what we have to keep in mind. Eric Stokes, cornerback, is re-signing in Vegas for $30 million. So again, some of the bigger signings have just been re-signings. By the way, a lot of the market values had him at like 2 for $20 or 3 for $30, and he signs 3 for $30.
so right.
So right around what people thought the market would be for Eric Stokes. So that's sort of interesting in what it means for like a Jalen Watson or Roger McCreary is a guy that I, put out there that I would be fine if the Chiefs were to go and get. Alontae Taylor. Again, these are slot cornerbacks that are out there.
Yeah. He graded out very well last year.
Yeah. Kihu Kohu, I always forget how to pronounce his name. The Miami Dolphins slot corner that didn't play last year because of injury. He's one to keep in mind because he's going to be cheaper. And he was also a guy who was really good in helping out in the run game too. So he wasn't just a small slot corner that wasn't going to tackle anybody. No, he was a slot cornerback that could cover, was pretty good, and was pretty decent in the run game too. I think that sort of fits what the Chiefs would want. So he's a name to keep in mind as well, depending on, I think he would be cheaper because he missed all of last year with an injury.
Yeah.
Also, it makes you assume, and it's something that I've assumed anyway, but you think Travis Kelce is returning to the Chiefs for one more year if the feeling is that Mahomes won't be back until like October or November? I highly doubt that. I think it'd be more likely, like if you said, if we heard Travis Kelce's going to the Giants or something like that, like, oh, wow. I think we could read into that as to what the latest is with Patrick Mahomes. Like, he and Mahomes are in contact. Like, does Mahomes think this might be a rough year in terms of him coming back and playing at a high level with that knee injury? Travis Kelce's returning for one more year and taking a little bit less money than what could be available to him on the open market to return to the Chiefs. He's not doing that because he thinks the quarterback will be compromised.
Yeah.
And this team will not be good enough to win a Super Bowl.
Correct.
He wants to end on a high note, go out after one more year, and maybe it's a multi-year thing. I don't know. Like I would wonder, if I mean it's odds are it's going to be a 1-year deal, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was like, hey, they actually signed him to a 2-year deal.
Again, at the end of the day, we felt like this was starting to trend this way. He's still a top, as we mentioned, easy 7 tight end in the NFL. I mean, whatever your thoughts are, I know that he is, compared to expectations of 5 years ago, they've changed, but he's still a top 7 tight end in football. He's still a very valuable piece, even with some back-breaking drops. I just don't understand the narrative that some Chiefs fans have of, well, it's time to move on. To who? To whom? The next, even at his age next year, he's going to be better than David Njoku. He's going to be better than Isaiah Likely. I mean, Isaiah Likely to me has still been the conversation of hype for how long? At some point, you have to put it together for some sort of consistency. Yeah. I get it. He looks good for a game, for 4 games out of 17 each year. What about the other 13?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what you would be doing is if you signed him, and what I would guess, and why I would say if Travis Kelce were to go somewhere else or retire, right, if he just didn't return, Isaiah Likely would have been my number 1 pick to go out and get, or a K-Dot or something like that. The way I would view it is there's a lot left in the tank for Isaiah Likely that was untapped in Baltimore, that the Chiefs will find a way to get out of in this offense with Patrick Mahomes and Isaiah Likely and his skill set, what he can do. That would be betting on the improvement going from one offense to another with Patrick Mahomes and filling the Travis Kelce role where I think there would be more of an opportunity for volume. And I'd be fine with that if that was the case. I doubt it's going to be the case. The Alec Pierce numbers, man.
Ooh. Draymond Jones came in, and it's a lot more than Spot Track had.
Oh, really?
Spot Track had him at $10 million a year. He signs 3 for nearly 40.
Oh, wow. So $13 million a year?
14.5 a year is what it says, which makes no sense. Oh, in year 1. So, yeah, 13.
So what is it, 3 for 39?
3 for 39.5.
Yeah. Interesting.
For Draymond Jones. And that's just the edge rusher. So that's trying to keep an eye on the edge rusher.
And he had 5 more sacks than Boye Mafe did last year. So, I mean, just depending on where you would have him ranked or how much money you think that guy would get, I mean, we'll find out what other players end up getting. But it's 16 minutes in, and the Chiefs have not signed
every single player we wanted.
Right, a player yet. At this time last year, just the difference of a year ago versus this year, this time last year they had already signed Jalen Moore. Dan Moore had already signed for big money to the Tennessee Titans. So, yeah. I did want to look at, with Alec Pierce signing, because one of the questions around free agency in the Chiefs with wide receivers of do you make a run at like a Mike Evans to give yourself a big-bodied receiver on the outside, or Alec Pierce, a deep threat, 20-yard reception player ready to strike on any given down. The wide receivers going back to 2011 that received at least $40 million in a contract as a free agent. And I think what it does is it shows that free agent wide receivers, you don't go and get your number 1 in free agency. Now, you may re-sign your own. So this is not necessarily an Alec Pierce to the Colts. This would be an Alec Pierce on the open market to go and sign him. You don't go into free agency to sign your number 1 receiver. You draft and retain your number 1 receiver. And simply going back and looking at some of the players and all of the players that received at least $40 million in free agency as a wide receiver. 3 players last year received $40 million. Stephon Diggs, Cooper Kupp, and Devontae Adams. You went 1 for 3 in whether it's worth it or not, I think. Stephon Diggs 1 year made $30 million last year. $40 million is the total, and played only 1 year. Devontae Adams was awesome.
Yeah, he was worth it.
Yeah, 14 touchdowns, 14 games. He was worth it. Cooper Kupp was, it depends on if you want it to be a loss leader. Like, okay, we're paying this amount of money to come in with JSN. We moved on from DK Metcalf, so we're bringing in Cooper Kupp to be a different type of receiver than DK Metcalf and to be around JSN. Okay, maybe it's worth it from that standpoint. But if we're looking at this strictly and specifically in a vacuum, Calvin Ridley to Tennessee, $92 million. Played 20 games. 4 catches per game for 4 touchdowns total.
Stephon did still go over 1,000 yards last year. Barely, but still. I mean, Stephon was...
But they gave him a deal that was worth up to $63.5 million.
Yeah, it was a little...
and then moved on from him after 1 year.
That's a little off-the-field stuff, too.
I agree.
There's
but that's part of signing him, though, is you kind of
Correct.
know what you're getting with Stephon Diggs, which is why I say no thank you to Stephon Diggs.
I would agree with that, especially with what's going on.
Yes.
That'd be too much.
Right. Alan Lazard in the friendship camp of Aaron Rodgers with the Jets got $44 million.
What?
And averaged less than 2 catches per game in the 36 games he played there.
That's absurd.
Christian Kirk to Jacksonville, $72 million. That was the contract that sort of changed things. But I think you can argue that it worked out in their favor. He averaged almost 5 catches per game, 61.5 yards, and in 37 games had 12 touchdowns. I don't think it was terrible. They may have overpaid and reset the market, but getting him, he actually performed in Jacksonville.
Yeah, I would agree. I always thought that was a little overblown because I thought he was actually a pretty good player for him.
It wasn't a Rams, the next one, a Rams Allen Robinson bust.
Yeah.
$46.5 million for Allen Robinson, played only 10 games. Scored 3 total touchdowns. It wasn't a disaster Kenny Golladay to the New York Giants.
Oh, my gosh. I forgot about
$72 million.
that.
He played a total of 26 games, less than 2 receptions per game, and caught 1 touchdown.
I forgot about Kenny Golladay.
20 yards per game in 26 games for the Giants. Kenny Golladay at $72 million. Oakland signed Tyrell Williams. The Chiefs' Sammy Watkins is on this list at $48 million. Up and down, 34 games he played, caught 8 touchdowns, 47 yards per game. But then we look at also the playoff stuff that he had. The catch that sealed the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl. They're late in the game. The catch burning Richard Sherman down the right side after jet chip wasp. So was he worth it? I would say yeah. Adding the dynamism to the entire offense when you were having Patrick Mahomes as your starting receiver. Allen Robinson to Chicago. Allen Robinson, that was worth it. $42 million. He was really good in Chicago. That's when he then parlayed that into the really big contract
that was
in
bad.
L.A. But Chicago got the best out of Allen Robinson. Paul Richardson in Washington, yuck. Pierre Garçon is on here twice. Marvin Jones in Detroit, $40 million. That was a great signing. I mean, Marvin Jones in Detroit made $40 million, played 70 games, 63 yards per game, and 36 touchdowns. That was a hell of a signing. And the Marvin Jones time in Detroit gets overlooked a lot.
But again, I'll also say...
But these are all of them players. Yeah. These are all the wide receivers in free agency, not re-signed by their own team, right?
And I'll also point out, 1, the hit rate's not great, and 2, even when the hit rate was good, a lot of times they're wide receiver 2s.
Yes, exactly. And I think, looking through this, the point being, the wide receiver 1s are drafted and retained by those particular teams. The players you go and sign to be your wide receiver 1 don't turn out to be wide receiver 1s. They either turn out to be busts or you're paying a little bit too much for that breaking news sounder, please. Michael already is 1 for 1. Jordan Schultz, Super Bowl MVP running back Kenneth Walker intends to sign with the Chiefs.
Wow.
There you Did you guys do that on purpose?
I liked it.
No.
So
Harmony.
Michael Darcy's first pick was Kenneth Walker. Sterling went ETN. I went Boye Mafe. In the previous hour, we did a free agent draft of who we thought were the most likely players to be signed by the Chiefs, not their own free agents. So Kelsey and Watson and Cook did not count. These were players they were going to go out and get on different teams. Kenneth Walker looks like he is going to be a Kansas City Chief.
See, I thought he was going to price himself out. And
Well, I mean, we'll see
We'll
what
see
the
what
price
it
is.
is.
Maybe he should have. I mean, the honestly, it could it could be something to where, okay, he should have priced himself out. The Chiefs should have gone to the next player. Kenneth Walker to the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs and Brett Veach said specifically, you have to get more explosive in the run game. He is an explosive player. He's a home run hitter. He is inconsistent, sometimes in the vision, but he will get you explosive plays. This team has to give Mahomes a break and find ways to create the explosive plays. He does love to bounce it outside. So you know what that means to me? That means the Chiefs need to go get a receiver or two that love to block. That means Juju. I'm good with Jalen Naylor. He's a willing blocker. It's one of the reasons why I think it's a great fit for the Chiefs. He finds space in the zone. He's able to work with leverage. He catches almost everything thrown his way. I think he's an ascending player, and he's a good blocker. The Chiefs value that. If Kenneth Walker is going to be a guy that is going to bounce things to the outside and be more of a home run threat, those explosive home run plays also happen with downfield blocking. But if they're signing Kenneth Walker, I don't think you sign Kenneth Walker to keep handing him the ball out of the shotgun, to
No.
keep handing him the ball in RPOs. That's not a signing that you do. And not take advantage of what would be the best parts about Kenneth Walker. So I want to look at under center plays. The number 2 team in the NFL in under center plays. I want to take a guess as to the number 2 team in the NFL in under center plays. The number 3 team in the NFL in runs from under center.
I'm going to go ahead and say Seattle.
Seattle.
It is Seattle. Ding, 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 ding. Seattle, you guys got it right.
Shockingly, it was the Jets. It was very...
Yeah. Number 1 team in runs from under center, the Buffalo Bills at 393. Number 2, the Los Angeles Rams at 380. Number 3, the Seattle Seahawks at 364. The Kansas City Chiefs handed off under center 156 times. They had 200 more handoffs under center, the Seahawks did, than the Chiefs last year.
So teams that are good running the football.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real now. I mean,
That's the thing, though. Are you going to sign Kenneth Walker to be a Kansas City Chief and then hand him the ball out of shotgun when that's not what he was doing in Seattle?
By the way, this probably screams no Jeremiah Love.
Yeah. I would
Let's go ahead and just say that too. This is also the Chiefs going with Kenneth Walker. This has 9 as a wide open spot. I mean, I'm thrilled, man.
Kenneth Walker has just tweeted out Chiefs Kingdom with a picture of him in a Chiefs jersey rushing the football. Looks pretty good.
I'm thrilled, man.
K9, the Chiefs got a dog. They got a K9 on their team.
This is
They needed
exactly what the Chiefs. And by the way, for Brett Veach, we should have known it was going to be either Walker or Etienne.
Well, I mean, we all sort of said that, right?
Because what happens when there's an issue on the roster?
He goes and
He gets the guy. Or at least tries. I mean, even with the offensive line, what did he try? He tried getting Trent Williams.
Yep.
He brought in the best guard in Joe Tooney. He tried and goes, okay, we're not getting Trent. We're going to overpay for Juwan Taylor.
Yeah. Not getting Orlando Brown is what it was.
Correct.
Orlando
Yeah.
Brown wanted to move on.
But even with...
Because they signed Donovan Smith.
And then last year,
Trent
it
Williams,
was, hey, let's get Jalen Moore and Josh Simmons.
Yep.
He likes to overcorrect, if you want to say overcorrect. And so it was the running back room was so bad. It wasn't going to be Algier or Kenneth Walker. It's, no, we're going top of the line.
This shout out Price Carter, Price A. Carter on Twitter, at Price A. Carter. Rushes of 10 or more yards in 2025. Chiefs total running backs 22. Kenneth Walker 33. Carries of 15 or more miles per hour in 2025. Chiefs running backs a total of 24 carries that reached at least 15 miles an hour. Kenneth Walker 67. Carries that reached at least 20 miles an hour running the football in 2025. Chiefs running backs 0. Kenneth Walker 2. So at least 2 more that he reached 20 miles an hour running the football. And this is what should excite you the most. Percentage of light boxes the Chiefs running backs faced. Chiefs and Seahawks. Percentage of light boxes. Chiefs first. 47.4% of all of their runs were light boxes. Seahawks 30th. All of that was against even or heavier boxes. 20% fewer runs for the Seahawks against light boxes than the Kansas City Chiefs faced last year. It is an upgrade at the running game. It's an upgrade to Patrick Mahomes and the offense. I've talked about how many times James Cook is a weapon for Josh Allen. Stop acting like weapons are only wide receivers and tight ends. James Cook is a weapon for Josh Allen because of the light boxes that Josh Allen does not have to go up against when he's throwing the football. Some of that is his own doing by being a running quarterback. He creates some of those even or heavier boxes. Granted. But when he's throwing the football, he's not going up against 7 guys dropping or having an extra nickel or a dime, having 1 linebacker out there, having only 2 guys in the box or 6 guys total, 2 guys in the second level, but 6 guys in the box or fewer when he's throwing the football and all of those players dropping. He's not going up against that. Patrick Mahomes went up against the most light boxes last year than any other quarterback. And when the Chiefs ran against the light box, they couldn't take advantage of it. What the Chiefs are doing now, Sterling, signing Kenneth Walker, we'll see what it took to get him, but they would be daring teams to go light box against the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback.
I was about to ask you guys, what do you think is a realistic contract? Would you be happy if it was a 3-year deal?
I think it's going to be a 3-year deal. Probably it could be a 4-year deal that's really 3 years.
Yeah.
3-year deal that's really 2. I would guess they probably want 3 years out of him, so maybe a 4-year deal that's really 3.
What are we thinking contract-wise?
I'll probably say it's 3 for 36. I'll say 3 for 36. By the way, the Giants supposedly made an offer for Kenneth Walker as well, which Giants fans and the front office cannot be happy that they tried getting Travis allegedly and Kenneth Walker allegedly and come away with neither.
I'm going to say 4 for 50.
That's
for Walker.
It's hefty. And the cap is going up. They can figure out ways to
it's
find
less
money
than,
at the back end of it, I'm sure.
It's less than it's 12.5, you know. Maybe it's 4 for 54.
But just think about it. They went from spending nothing at the position to dropping 12.5 projected.
We'll see. I mean,
you know, you mentioned the course correction.
Maybe it's 4 for 52. And it's $13 million exactly.
And we'll see. Either way,
I think it's going to be a 4-year deal. That my guess is if you were going to sign him in the open market, I don't think Kenneth Walker would be signing for a 3-year deal. I just don't.
What matters now is that Kenneth Walker is a Chief, and that Kenneth Walker is going to put explosive runs back on the Waffle House menu card that Andy Reid holds during the game. What matters now is that you're right. This should alleviate the light boxes that Patrick faces, which is detrimental to the pass game. What matters now is this should help Xavier Worthy actually get more deep balls thrown his way, because he should be having fewer safeties shaded to his side because
Yep.
they will no longer be allowed to. What this should happen and help with is fewer RPOs, which has been detrimental to the Chiefs' offense for the past 2+ seasons. I'm thrilled. I'm happy.
Okay, so the numbers are in. Whew. They're paying for it.
Oh.
That's for sure. It is only a 3-year deal, but it's 3 years for $43 million, so that's $14 million a year. Could be up to $45 million. $29 million of that is going to be guaranteed
Yeah, I'm fine
on the
with
3
that.
years. So that's about
3 or 2.
It's a 3-year deal.
Okay.
$29 million of that is going to be guaranteed. So 3 years, $43
So basically,
million.
it's basically
About
a 2-year
$14 million per year.
2-year contract, basically. 3 years.
Yep. I am surprised that he signed for 3 and not 4 years, unless people offering 4 years was more funny money on the 4th year.
Or is the Giants.
True, maybe.
You just
Right.
won a Super Bowl. Do you want to go play for the Giants?
Yeah, but I mean, it could have been, hey, here's a 4-year deal and we're giving you $30 million guaranteed, or here's the 3-year deal and we're giving you $29 million guaranteed, because again, the guaranteed dollars are what matters. It's a $43 million deal that could be up to 45. So the Chiefs went and signed him, and they had to pay. I think the Breece Hall franchise tag may have changed the number on Kenneth Walker a little bit.
Sure.
And I definitely think Charbonnet's ACL tear changed the number on Kenneth Walker a little bit, because it allowed Kenneth Walker to be showcased.
Oh, dude, what would he have received if Charbonnet stayed healthy the entire season in
3 for
playoffs?
30? 3 for 30?
Tops?
Yeah, I mean, like $10 million a year, because he would be, well, you're part of a running back tandem. You're part of a running back committee. They
Yes.
drafted you in the second round and then drafted somebody else in the second round to work with you. And this guy was the third down back. He was the receiving back. You don't receive the ball well. They like him to protect the quarterback. They give him the goal line touches. You're kind of a 2-down back outside of the 10-yard line, from the 10 to the 10. And Charbonnet takes care of the rest. Let's see what your true value is. We're willing to sign you and make you a 3-down back, but that doesn't mean that you're going to get the full value of being a 3-down back. Now, what you have to look at, to me, is when did Charbonnet get hurt? And when we say what can Kenneth Walker do as a number one primary running back? Charbonnet got hurt. So Kenneth Walker, the last 4 games he played without Charbonnet there as a running back, he had 16 carries, 97 yards. He had 4 receptions for 36 yards. First round of the playoffs, 19 carries, 116 yards, and 3 touchdowns. 3 receptions, 29 yards. Against the Rams in the championship game, 19 carries, 62 yards, and a touchdown. 4 receptions, 49 yards receiving. And in the Super Bowl, 27 for 135. And then 2 receptions, 26 yards. So in the 4 games without Charbonnet, he had minimum 26 receiving yards in all 4 of those. 26, 29, 36, and 49 receiving yards. And he had 15 targets, 13 receptions on 15 targets. So the idea that he's not a receiving back or he's not good at catching the football, 13 catches on 15 targets when Charbonnet went out, and he was the primary 3-down back.
I don't know why it's Kenneth Walker. It should be Kenneth Runner.
I mean, yeah, you could go there. I wouldn't. You could. I definitely wouldn't. So people were wondering about ETN because he fits more in what would be the passing game for the Chiefs. But I think it also should be included without Charbonnet. That
Big, real quick, breaking news. Jalen Watson reaches an agreement on a 3-year deal with the Rams. So you're right. McDuffie and Watson stay together.
I told you the only chance that Jalen
But in
Watson
LA.
and Trent McDuffie had a chance of playing together, the only chance they could have played together was in LA. What are those numbers again? And we'll go to break.
Don't have the numbers.
Okay.
All it is per Adam Schefter, They reached an agreement, the Rams and Jalen Watson, on a 3-year deal.
And
So
based
3-year
on what
deal.
they paid McDuffie, I don't think it's going to be cheap.
Yep, 3-year deal for Jalen Watson heading to L.A. to play for the Rams and to line up with Trent McDuffie. And as I said,
That secondary, that defense in L.A. with the Rams is
yeah, it's going to be good.
absurd. Imagine
Be good.
McDuffie and Watson with a good pass rush.
Yeah, it's going to be good. So Jalen Watson is gone. Trent McDuffie is gone. That means the Chiefs should be shopping in the cornerback market here pretty soon.
Benjamin St. Juste, come on down.
I mean, for you, that would be St. Juicy. I would go more of the Roger McCreary. I'd go more of the Alante Taylor.
Yeah.
I'd go more of I'm going to focus my resources on a slot corner. Therefore, if I don't re-sign Brian Cook, I can move Maury Connor back to safety, and I've got somebody to play the slot with Christian Roland Wallace that can do that as well. But I'm spending my money there, and Christian Fulton and Noah Williams are going to be my outside corners, and I can still address that in the draft too. Which, by the way, with Jalen Watson signing somewhere else, cornerback does become more of a priority in the draft, maybe at pick 29.
They love Noah Williams is what this tells me.
They do. And Christian Fulton is not going to be released.
I would imagine
say.
so.
I didn't think he was anyway, but this just further solidifies that. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More Zone next. All right, so catching up on the things that have happened. Jalen Watson is heading to the Los Angeles Rams to team up with Trent McDuffie again. They spent their career together being in the same draft class, and then they had about 6 days of where they were not on the same team. So they had a 6-day, probably went through hell in those 6 days of not being teammates. But Jalen Watson now back with is heading to the Rams, playing with Trent McDuffie again. The Kansas City Chiefs have signed Kenneth Walker. 3 years, $43 million. $45 million it can go up to. About $29 million of that is guaranteed. I'm assuming it's a 2-year, $29 million contract, 28 and change, whatever. It's a 2-year deal. He'll average over the 3 years $14 million per year. We'll see what Breece Hall ends up getting. We'll see what Travis Etienne ends up getting. Michael Pittman has been traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we talked about when the Colts signed Alec Pierce to the massive deal that he signed for, $30 million per year. I believe $80 million of that was guaranteed, right? Something like that. Michael Pittman, the Colts are sending him to the Steelers. Also, the edge market is being set. The Carolina Panthers signed Jalen Phillips to a 4-year, $120 million deal with $80 million guaranteed.
Insane.
So, there you go.
Very good player when healthy, but it feels almost Kyle Pitts-like, where you see the upside and you go, oh my gosh, that guy's incredible. But the consistency has, for the most part, not been there. And then the injuries have played a massive factor as well. Jalen Phillips is a really good player, but 4 for 120 with that much guaranteed is asinine to me.
Michael, I'm going to send you a DM, sliding in your DMs here, from Mike Garafolo and NFL Network talking about Kenneth Walker III. So deal 3 years, $43 million, 28.7 of that is guaranteed. Kingsley Suamataia tweeting out to Kenneth Walker saying, can't wait to block for you. Hashtag Chiefs Kingdom. Patrick Mahomes, let's go, exclamation point, flexing emoji. So there you go. Lots of excitement around Kenneth Walker III. What'll be interesting to see is what Travis Etienne signs for. Because then it'll be a comparison of what he does in his career, what Kenneth Walker does in his career, and the money it took to get Etienne and the money it took to get Kenneth Walker. Malik Willis is heading to the Miami Dolphins. 3 years, $67.5 million for Malik Willis to the Dolphins, $45 million guaranteed for Malik Willis. So the Dolphins release Tua, take $99 million in a dead cap hit, post June 1 so they can stretch that over 2 years, and then give a massive contract to Malik Willis. That's just smart business. Because if there's one guy that's definitely proven that, you know, he can get $67 million, it's Malik Willis in the time that he was there filling in for Jordan Love. Let's hear Mike Garafolo, NFL Network. I haven't heard this, so I'm curious to see what he had to say as well about the Chiefs signing Kenneth Walker.
Yes. Meanwhile, we have a big signing. The Super Bowl MVP, Kenneth Walker, headed to the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, you can put it up there. I think I confused the control room. It wasn't a new one. It's Kenneth Walker, the highest paid free agent deal for a running back in NFL history, and the most fully guaranteed given to a running back in a free agent contract ever. The numbers are literally coming in as I say this right now, so hang with me as I stall a little bit longer, but digest that. It is a big deal for Kenneth Walker, whom the Seahawks did try to retain at one point through the last couple of weeks. Even though they didn't tag him, there were still discussions between the Seahawks and Walker leading up to the start of free agency, but in the end, Walker agrees to a deal with the Kansas City Chiefs, who made it clear that they were going to go strong for a running back. So the deal gets done here in a big contract that we're still waiting on exact numbers for. in a deal done by David Cantor and Nes Mugrabi of Aura Sports Group, who just recently signed Walker as a client, and then they wind up getting him this deal. We do have the numbers on Draymond Jones to the New England Patriots, the edge rusher there who had 7 sacks last year, a career high. He heads to New England after a trade that sent him, it was a 5th-round pick that sent him to Baltimore in the middle of the season last year from Tennessee. So Patriots closing in on that deal. I believe it's done. We'll call it done. 3 years, $39.5 million. All right, back to Walker. $45 million fully guaranteed on a 3-year deal with 3 years, $45 million maximum value. 28.7 fully guaranteed on that 3-year deal with Kenneth Walker. Good job, control room. You're on your toes. I got you going back and forth here. So Kenneth Walker to the Chiefs. 3 years, $45 million max value. So that's $15 million per season max value with 28.7 fully guaranteed on a 3-year deal. Again, in that deal done by David Cantor and Nes Mugrabi of Aura Sports.
So there you go. It is the highest paid contract for a free agent running back in NFL history, $43 million and $14 million per year, and the highest amount of money given to
Saquon?
Saquon was 3 for 37.5 from the Giants to the Eagles. He re-signed.
So the re-sign, okay.
They renegotiated his contract because he outperformed it.
And then the CMC, the same thing, that was a trade, and then okay.
So, yeah, and CMC re-signed with the Panthers.
Okay.
But a free agent contract, Saquon Barkley, and it's why, by the way, 2 years ago in the free agency of 2024, and Saquon was leaving the Giants, that we talked about on the show about the Chiefs should be looking into signing Saquon Barkley, that you put him with with Patrick Mahomes and this offense, how good it can be, that the free agent market had, the running back market pendulum had swung so far the other way that now Saquon Barkley was going to get like $10 or $11 million per year. You should be looking at signing Saquon Barkley, whether you have Pacheco or not. They didn't, obviously, but he signed 3 for 37.5. So Saquon Barkley 2 years ago, March of 2024, signed for $12.6 million annually. 2 years later, Kenneth Walker signs for $14. Saquon Barkley got $26 million guaranteed. 2 years later, Kenneth Walker III gets $29 million guaranteed as a free agent. The pendulum swung so far that Saquon hit free agency and people were like, no, we're good. Running backs are a dime a dozen. We're fine. And the Eagles were like, cool, we'll take Saquon Barkley and completely revamp what our offense can do with him in the backfield and Jalen Hurts, and we'll go win a freaking Super Bowl. The Chiefs decided Pacheco and their running backs were fine because you don't pay that money for running back. What a difference 2 years makes that people are pumped about getting Kenneth Walker in Kansas City. $14 million per year, though, to get him. Now, Saquon, after 1 year, restructures the deal with the Eagles and is at $20 million per year. But would he have restructured the deal in Kansas City? I don't know. I mean, this would be the 3rd year of that deal. So they might have to be renegotiating with Saquon or simply moving on from Saquon. It would be a different life we'd be talking about and living, and who knows what would have happened in 2024. Maybe signing Saquon Barkley was the difference of winning a Super Bowl, winning 3 in a row, instead of losing to the Eagles if Saquon was on your team for $13 million per year on a 3-year deal. Who knows? But the free agent running back market was to the point that people said, not worth it. They are so overvalued that they're all running back by committee anyway. And that changed so fast that Kenneth Walker 2 years later gets more money than Barkley, more guaranteed dollars than Barkley. Now, inflation happens over a couple of years because the salary cap goes up from, what was it, like 250 something to then 275 to then 301. So it's increased by 50 million essentially over the last couple of years. So it allows you then to spend a little bit more money on running back. But it does give us a sense of being able to look back and say, boy, we talked about it at the time that the Chiefs should be looking at Saquon Barkley because you don't get many difference-making players on the free agent market at value the way that the Eagles at the time, when we found out, got Saquon Barkley. You're like, man, would have liked the Chiefs to pay that money. They didn't. Now they're going with Kenneth Walker. We'll see how it works out with Kenneth Walker over the next 3 years. More likely a 2-year, $29 million contract for Kenneth Walker. The edge market's going to be fascinating because Jalen Phillips is a guy that is often injured, is better against the run than he is with the numbers of sacking the quarterback, and is getting 4 for 120 with $80 million guaranteed.
That's why I said, by the way, Carl Loftus' contract's not that bad.
Right. Agreed.
I've said it many times. Everyone can rip on the Carl Loftus contract. This is what edge rushers get. Jalen Phillips is not as good as Carl Loftus. He might have the potential, but we're still talking potential about Jalen Phillips before actual production. This is what edge rushers get. It's insane.
So I talked about if Travis Kelce were to go somewhere else that I would have liked for the Chiefs to sign Isaiah Likely. The team that people talked about that was interested in Travis Kelce was the New York Giants with John Harbaugh. It's like, okay, they're interested in getting Travis Kelce. Kelce's returning to the Kansas City Chiefs, so the Giants go and sign Isaiah Likely. 3 years, $40 million for Isaiah Likely. So what, $13.3 million per year for Isaiah Likely in a deal that can be worth up to $47.5 million. What has been reported so far about Kelce is that it's a 1-year deal worth up to $15 million. So we'll see what the actual numbers are with that. But if we're saying that Travis Kelce, if not the Chiefs, the Giants were looking at signing him, well, the Giants are no longer looking at signing Travis Kelce. They just signed Isaiah Likely. We'll take a timeout, come back. More Zone next.
Right now, it's going crazy in the NFL, but what's crazy is what FanDuel is doing. FanDuel is giving all customers a profit boost every single day through March 15th. From now until the final 68 is revealed, you're getting daily profit boost for a chance at boosted winnings on all your college basketball bets. Trust me, you do not want to miss a single day. Just even right now, starting tonight, you start having tournament games. You have West Coast Conference Tournament, Oregon State, Gonzaga, Santa Clara, St. Mary's. That one should be awesome. Obviously, Big 12 tournament coming up, SEC tournament coming up. All the tournaments, all the fun, all the action, and why not have a little more fun and a little more action right there on FanDuel? Build a same-game parlay for a shot at even bigger payouts, or try live betting and jump in after tip-off. Best of all, with FanDuel, you get paid instantly when you win. All you need to do is visit FanDuel.com/local to get started.
21 plus in President, Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amounts. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, wrapping things up here in this second hour of the show. 2 more hours to go. Frenzied. That's what it's been in the last hour or so. Chiefs signed Kenneth Walker III. Jalen Watson signs with the Rams. Travis Kelce returning to the Chiefs. Isaiah Likely heading to the Giants. Jalen Phillips signing with the Carolina Panthers. 4 years, $120 million. Malik Willis heading to the Dolphins. Miami releasing Tua, taking a $99 million dead cap hit as a post-June 1 signing, and then signing Malik Willis. So no offensive line, but they've got Malik Willis, Devon Achane, and Jalen Waddle. What a fun offense that nobody will block for. We'll see what else happens over the next couple of hours. Defensive end, defensive tackle still need to be addressed by the Chiefs. All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy. Free agency frenzy going on. Legal tampering period opening up a little more than an hour ago, and a lot of movement has taken place. Certainly, also one of the two defensive ends or edge players are off the market. That would have been at least somebody the Chiefs may have been interested in. Jalen Phillips on the high end got 4 years, $120 million with $80 million guaranteed, and on the value side of it, Joseph Osai got 3 for $36, so $12 million per year for Osai, who's 26 years old. He had 5 sacks last year for the Cincinnati Bengals, famously known as the guy who pushed Patrick Mahomes late out of bounds and picked up that penalty in the AFC Championship game. But he's now making $12 million per year. That's the going rate for 5 sacks and 9 tackles for loss last year. 5 sacks and 4 tackles for loss the year before. 1 sack and 1 tackle for loss in 23. 3.5 sacks and 2 tackles for loss in 22. It's now going to get you $12 million per year.
That's why I once again say that George Karlaftis' contract is not bad. It's just the average going rate.
I mean, it looks better and better when we see like some of these other players that are signed. I mean, average salary of $22 million for Karlaftis, $10 million more than Osai, but Osai is not the player that Karlaftis is.
Not even close.
And they've got value with him. I mean, Karlaftis' cap hit is $15.2 million this year. Next year's it's 15.3 as a 25 and a 26-year-old. So there's value in that with George Karlaftis. But we'll see what the Chiefs do in the edge market, because Boye Mafe is a guy that we have talked about being connected to the Chiefs. And Odafe Owe is expected to get a pretty good deal out there for him. Not good deal as in like for the team, but good deal for his bank account. Kenneth Gainwell is now signed. Kenneth Gainwell goes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 2 years, $14 million. So, you know, we talked about like piecing together an Algier and a Gainwell. Well, Gainwell himself is making $7. So
Surprised by that.
I think that puts into perspective of the Kenneth Walker of $14 million. If the Chiefs are saying, well, do we go $14 million, $13 million, ETN, Kenneth Walker, or do we piece it together with the $7 or $8 million range? Well, let's see what Kenneth Gainwell's going to get. 14 over, you're getting $7 million per year? Okay, let's be more in the Kenneth Walker market rather than the $7 million for Kenneth Gainwell market.
I'm surprised with the Buccaneers doing that, because they could have, in my opinion, probably just gone after Rashad White and kept your own.
Well, let's see what Rashad White's going to go for.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a little surprising to me, but yeah, if Kenneth Gainwell's getting $7 million a year, you might as well go after Kenneth Walker. Yeah, it's twice as much, but I think we all agree that Walker makes way more sense than Gainwell.
Yeah, 100%. Yes, he does. I want to bring up a couple things as how it relates to Kenneth Walker. I mean, explosive plays, explosive plays, explosive plays. It's something I've probably said 1,000 times since we got to the championship games in the AFC and the NFC. An explosive play differential, 1, 2, 4, and 5 in the league, played in the conference championship games. An explosive play differential. The 3 worst explosive running back rush rates in the last 25 years. The 3 worst explosive running back rush rates of the last 25 years. The worst, the Kansas City Chiefs last year. The second worst, the 2007 Kansas City Chiefs. The third worst in the last 25 years, the 2024 Kansas City Chiefs.
Was that Jackie Battle in 2007?
Explosive rush rate. The 3 worst explosive rush rates. 2.6% last year for the Kansas City Chiefs explosive run rate. 2007, 2.8%, and this last year, or 2024, 2.8%. They went backwards. They went backwards. They had the second worst ever, and they got worse last year. Kenneth Walker was third this year among all running backs in explosive run rate. So, I mean, that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about, do you need to hand the ball off 25 times to a player? Or do you need to find a player that can break off a 20 or 25-yard run, a 50-yard run from time to time? Mitchell Schwartz tweets out, well, Jeff Schwartz tweets out when the Kenneth Walker news came down, obviously a huge upgrade, but are they going to commit to running the ball more often and from under center now? Mitchell Schwartz quote tweets it and says, no, and I don't think you need to or that they ever will. I've been saying for years they just need someone fast who can hit home runs, get explosive in the run game, and one long TD every month, and it changes the calculus for the defense. Mitchell Schwartz goes on to continue and say, the Chiefs don't need to commit to the run. They need a home run hitter who can make defenses pay for staying in too high and light boxes. Either the D opens up the run game for explosives, or they get scared and change and open up some pass game. Walker should be a perfect fit. It's from Mitchell Schwartz.
Which, again, I go back to, this might be the best. This is the best news for Xavier Worthy. Like, I think that, I mean, everything in the NFL, everything has...
I think it's good news for Travis Kelce, too.
Yes, but everything has... It's a domino effect, right? Everything, you do this, this happens. You do this happens. And so, again, if Mitchell Schwartz is correct, again, I believe that it's a astute observation. I think you need to run it more than just, saying every once in a while. But
I think under center more.
Yes, I push back a little bit there, but I think the thought process and philosophy is the same of defenses will have to adjust to the explosive nature of Kenneth Walker, which again means fewer light boxes, which means more one-on-ones, more opportunity, especially deep, for Xavier Worthy. Again, I think Worthy is the biggest benefactor of the Kenneth Walker signing.
Yeah, I think Travis Kelce is part of it too. Travis Kelce would have to be aware that they were going to sign Kenneth Walker, right? Travis Kelce, I'm assuming, would know that, hey, if you're talking to Brett Veach and negotiating a contract, that, hey, Travis, while we're working on this deal, Kenneth Walker is going to be in the backfield this year. Okay? So you know what that's going to do for you? It's going to create more space for you when defenses have to adjust and care about the run. It can't just be you trying to get open when there are 7 guys back in coverage. And you're going to have a nickel or a big safety or whatever it is. There's going to be more space for you to work in the middle of the field because it's going to be less congested. I mean, it'd have to be a part of it. Doesn't mean that Travis Kelce is going to return on a $5 million deal, but he would know that Kenneth Walker is going to be a part of it if you're talking to him, I would guess. Because how much of this, the legal tampering period, you talk to different agents, you get a quote-unquote feel for what the free agents may want from different agents out there that are representing said free agent on what they may be looking for on the open market, and you can start to set your budget that way. And so you're probably aware that if you're dealing in the Kenneth Walker market, you're going to be paying minimum $13 million, maybe 14. I doubt, I mean, they didn't have to go to 15. I doubt they would have, but they didn't have to.
I'd love to know what the Giants were offering, too.
Yeah. Not 14. Or maybe they were offering the exact same deal. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to go to the Kansas City Chiefs and play with Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, I'm going to spend the next 3 years of my career running the football for the best quarterback in the league.
Well, also, Kim Scadaboo. Does he want to go to the same situation
That's a good point.
He was in Seattle with?
That's a good point.
Scadaboo being the Zach Charbonnet.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point. Because there is no committee in Kansas City.
No.
The committee is Kenneth Walker. That's the committee.
maybe Kareem Hunt does come back as
That's
far
fine.
as your short yardage guy, which
right, take a little wear and tear off Kenneth Walker trying to pick up the 4th and 1s and the 3rd and 1s and let Kareem Hunt do that.
this actually makes way more sense for Kareem Hunt to come back now on a 1-year little deal.
Yes.
He's not getting paid a lot anyways. I thought Kareem was phenomenal in his role last year. Do that. Whatever your thoughts are on Brashard Smith, he's probably back. I don't know where he fits, if they're going to move him to receiver or not. But you kind of have your running back room if Kareem Hunt comes back. You'll probably draft another guy late as a flyer. But this opens the draft up so much for BPA at 9. Right? This allows you if, I don't know, let's say you can't trade back, and let's go ahead and say that Bain and Bailey are off the board. Well, maybe a team wants to trade for you. I just said you can't trade back. But maybe if Love is there, you can trade back. Or if, let's say, Caleb Downs is there.
Yeah.
Maybe you can go with a guy you're like, man, we didn't need safety, but he's the best player or the cornerback from LSU. Mm-hmm. Right? You go, okay, maybe we roll this way now. This, to me, with the Walker signing, opens up so much in the draft for KC.
Let's hear from Brett Veach. This was a couple of weeks ago tomorrow. At the Combine when he had his press conference on that Tuesday, and he was asked about what do you want to see and address with the offense and struggles, what needs to happen for this offense to improve?
Certainly we want to get more explosive in the running game, and we've invested in that interior, and with Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey, two of the best in the league, and we thought Kingsley made a big step. Those are 3 talented interior players. So I think, and we've talked about it, and Coach has done an amazing job with his staff cranking on that scheme eval, but I think being more explosive in the running game and really taking advantage of those interior 3 to kind of impose your will on an opposing team's defense. But the running game takes a lot of pressure off everybody. So I think if we can be more explosive and more effective in the running game, I think obviously we take a lot of pressure off Pat, especially coming back early in the season with the injury.
You talked about it a lot, but also take advantage of those 3 guys in the middle. You've invested money in them. You've got the highest paid guard, highest paid center, and a second-round left guard. You've invested in the middle of your offensive line. You also have a left tackle that's a first-round draft pick. You have a $17 million cap hit right tackle. You might have another draft pick. You might have a first-round draft pick right tackle. Who knows? You've invested in that offensive line, so take advantage of that. And it's difficult to take advantage of that, with RPOs when you don't know if you're the offensive line that you can fire off the ball and get to the second level and just knock somebody on their butt. Because if I hit somebody and drive him backwards for 2 or 3 yards and I'm falling forward and Mahomes has to pump fake because somebody's there and then throw it late, which he typically doesn't do, he'll end up running it at that point because he's smart enough to know that this is going to be potentially an illegal man downfield. But you don't have just the knowledge in the back of your mind, let me just go to the next level and beat this guy. Makes it a little bit easier, I think, to fire off the ball and to become a more explosive running game because you get to the next level and the next level and block downfield. And also, you know what it does with the RPOs? We talk about the RPOs from the offensive line standpoint. RPOs also don't have you blocking very much as a wide receiver because you're running a route. And then after running a route, oh, wait, now I got to get into position to block because I'm running a route, but he handed it off. As opposed to, this is a running play. I can get into position to block for this guy down the field. And I can make the decision if I'm going to come down to the linebacker, the safety, or if I'm going to seal off with the cornerback, the guy that's guarding me. I can make that decision right now. Not, I got to run my route. I'm not getting the ball. Oh, he handed it off. Now let me see who I'm going to go and block.
I shouldn't be surprised, but I still am, that the Chiefs actually did what we wanted them to do in the running back room.
Yeah.
I am surprised, and we shouldn't be because we mentioned, the offensive line and the revamping of when things are bad, they sink a lot of resources into a position. But this almost is a admission that they got it wrong last year.
Yeah.
And I'll give Brett Veach credit for this. Again, I'm not just trying to sit here and say he does everything right. But I do give credit to a guy who's been to as many Super Bowls as he has with the Chiefs, right? Help overseeing this. This, to me, of getting Walker was an admission of, we bleeped up at the running back room last year. We're not going in with question marks anymore. We're done with that. We were wrong. We heard you. We heard the fans last year. We heard you say, we want this. It's not good enough. We go, no, we think it is. I was wrong. We're going out and getting the top guy on the market to lead the running back room now. This, to me, is an admission of, I got it. And he's done this before. They drafted Breland Speaks. First ever draft pick by Veach.
Yeah.
And what happens? I was wrong.
Yeah, because
we're moving on.
Well, but also and what makes this on the running back spot of getting more explosive and the need to be more explosive, and also what else they're going to do at the cornerback spot, maybe safety, maybe edge, is why they draft Breland Speaks. Well, because boy, if you're in the draft room, we got to have a edge rusher. We got to have a guy that can. We got to have this player. We have such a need at this spot. We have a hole, and he's the last one that we have on this sort of tier of players. Let's trade up and get him because we have to have him. We went into this draft saying we have to have this particular position. And they reached because they had to have that position. And they typically go into the draft having most every position taken care of, that if they were to play a game going into the first day of the draft, they could field a team. That they'd feel like, okay, we feel like it's a pretty competent team out there that you can go and play with, and not, good God, you've got nobody at this spot. Now you have to go and take that position.
They can't right now. They would have to have one more wide receiver.
For sure.
At
I'm
least,
just talking about day of the draft.
Yeah, typically. I'm just thinking right now, what do they need? They at least need one more wide receiver. They at least need 1 to 2 more defensive linemen, and they need probably 1 to 2 more cornerbacks.
Yeah.
Right? And just if we're being, like, if we're doing the same strategy of what should we be on the lookout for that the Chiefs need? Not wants, but needs. They need at least 1 more wide receiver, probably 1 to 2 more cornerbacks, and 1 to 2 more defensive linemen at a minimum.
Yeah, I'm in agreement on that. The Bears are signing safety Kobe Bryant, so that's a
Former KU guy, right? Or is it the different
Kobe?
Different Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, Kobe was a corner.
I didn't know if he'd moved to
KU.
safety.
Kobe Bryant's not great,
No,
sadly.
but Kobe Bryant, a guy that did we mention him in? I think we talked about him when we did our draft on safeties.
Yeah.
But
probably
neither
played
of us went with that. Michael went with Cisco, and I went with Nick Cross. If the Chiefs were signing a safety outside of bringing back, a Brian Cook.
That's why I know him. He played with Brian Cook in Cincinnati.
Oh yeah,
That's why I was like, I know who. That's why he played with Brian Cook in Cincinnati, which is that secondary was absurd.
yeah, yeah.
Forgot about that. Yeah, good call.
Let's take a time out. We'll come back and continue rolling. We'll look at some of the other areas the Chiefs need to address and sign as we get into more of this free agency, legal tampering, and keep you updated on what all is going on. But the Chiefs have signed their running back, 3 years, $14 million per for Kenneth Walker, the one of the most explosive backs in the NFL. Maybe not as consistent, but they need explosiveness, not consistently getting 3 yards. They need somebody that can break off a 15, a 20, a 25, a 40-yard run from time to time and move the chains that way. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More Zone next.
I did think that things were going to be different, Jason.
Okay.
I thought the Chiefs traded McDuffie. They'll pay Watson. Even in the back of my mind, knowing the Chiefs do not give second contracts to corners. They don't do it.
No.
But I thought, you can't lose McDuffie and Watson and Brian Cook. Right? You can't do that.
You can't.
But
what?
With Jalen Watson going to the Rams on a good job, Darcy. Hell of a Monday for you, Darcy. With the Chiefs moving on from Watson and a contract I thought was very in line and very fair with what we thought he was probably going to receive Watson. I'm talking about with a 3-year, $51 million. They're just never going to do it, at least under Veach. I mean, they decided to move on from both McDuffie and Watson in the same offseason. They moved on from Travarius, Legarius, Thacarius Keys,
Charvarius,
and Morgan. I mean, I guess, but this even goes back farther. They didn't pay Brandon Flowers or Brandon Carr. They didn't pay Marcus Peters. They just don't. They just trust, at least right now, they trust Spags and Dave Merritt.
Well, the highest paid cornerback in 1 year under Brett Veach, the most money any cornerback has made in 1 year under Brett Veach, was last year Christian Fulton.
Yeah,
$10 million. The second highest was Trent McDuffie at $8 million his rookie year because of the signing bonus. Those are the only two that have made more than $3.5 million as a cornerback.
Wow.
Under Brett Veach.
And it's been one of the deepest rooms?
Right. Because they trust that. Now, Kenneth Walker has put out on Instagram a highlight reel titled, quote, New Beginnings, with him running and, all of these different, big plays, and then showing Chiefs fans cheering and things like that. But he starts off on his Instagram post with a satellite view, zooming in, and then outlining the state of Kansas before he shows the highlights. Now, is Kenneth Walker saying he's going to be on the Chiefs until they build the new stadium? That's the question. Is Kenneth Walker saying, I am now a lifer.
Buddy.
I will be here until they play in actual Kansas.
Buddy, this is... Buddy, you did not... Don't do that. Put both. Outline both.
Just do a circle around Kansas.
Yes, just do it. Put a circle.
Big old circle.
the Midwest.
Big old circle around. Yeah, exactly. It's the Midwest team. It's
Somehow
a
he
team.
just pissed off so many people.
Yes.
I know it's such a small deal, and that you shouldn't care.
But that's help from your team.
He
from
also
your agency
didn't
and,
make the edit. I
Yeah,
just want
that's
to say that right
exactly-
now.
Oh.
No, we know he did, but
Yeah.
your team, your agency, you can't. It's like when people come to concerts. Sometimes they're playing Kansas, sometimes it's Missouri, sometimes they get it wrong. And my favorite ever is when I went to a concert. They go, "We're thrilled to be here, Kansas," and they're playing in Missouri, and they go, and then he goes, "No, okay, fine. How many of you bleeps are from Missouri?" Or whatever it was, the opposite state, and like half the crowd raised their hand. They go, "See, it doesn't matter. I'm giving you guys love too." I just always find it funny. It's like Kenneth Walker, though. Come on, your agency. You can't do that. Just circle all of Kansas City.
Because he had the tweet put out there with him in a Chiefs uniform, with the Chiefs Kingdom headline on that tweet. I don't think he went and put that artwork together. But you got people working around you in the agency. I don't think he went and put that Instagram post.
His passion's this.
Maybe it is. You see that great picture from King Griffey Jr.? With Schwarber, Schwarber and Aaron Judge meeting with the elbows and the Bash Brothers, jumping up
cool.
and hitting the elbows together. It's like Getty Images credit King Griffey Jr.
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome. He's got a passion. Also, by the way, this maybe somebody's learned. It could have been my learned. Do you know why he started doing photography and taking pictures and stuff, and how he fell in love with it?
His dad did it.
Nope.
Oh.
He would go to his kids' games, and in order to not be bugged and people coming up saying, "It's King Griffey Jr., he would stand over off by the side with that big camera and just take pictures so people wouldn't go up and bother him. So he'd just be taking pictures over there. And then he fell in love with it. And now he's doing it as a profession.
Oh, good for him.
So it's like, hey, I just want to watch my kids play. Okay, I know that, yes, I'm King Griffey Jr., I get it. But I just want to come out here and watch my family, right? So how do I be left alone without telling people leave me alone?
Does he have a kid named Ken Griffey Jr., like the third?
I don't think it would be King Griffey Jr. the third, though. I don't think that's how it works.
It should be, though.
I don't think, because if it's
Then
King Griffey Jr.,
then does he
then that'd
become
be King Griffey
senior?
Jr.
What if he's Ken Griffey Senior Jr.?
King Griffey Jr., because if you are naming him King Griffey Jr., then the second person to be named King Griffey Jr. would be King Griffey Jr. Jr. It'd be King Griffey the third.
Kenneth Walker the third.
Yes. K9.
He actually doesn't even have a first or second. He just wanted to go by the third. He just thought it was cool.
That's exactly right. His dad's actually named Ron. Mina Kimes tweets out, over the last 2 years, Chiefs running backs have run for 10 or more yards less than 9% of the time, 31st among 32 teams. Last season, Kenneth Walker had the third highest 10-plus yard rate of any running back. Last season, the Chiefs ranked 9th in yards before contact and 30th in yards after contact.
I love that. I'm just looking for all these new signings to see, hey, who's coming back, who's leaving, and it's always like, okay, it's coming in. Falcons signed 41-year-old kicker Nick Folk. And you're like, Folk me, right? You're like,
by the way, one of the...
We can say that, right? Nick, it's Nick Folk, right? Like,
yes.
we said
Folk, you signed a big contract.
Yeah, I got nervous even just saying that because I'm a little congested still. I'm like, let's not...
Folk, me signing with this team.
I get nervous with any of these names.
Right. By the way, with the Ted Wynn tweet about last season Chiefs ranking 9th in yards before contact and 30th in yards after contact, the first reply is somebody that goes, does this take into account Pacheco running into the ass of his O-lineman as initial contact? 9th in yards before contact. Well, actually, it would be 4th in yards before contact if Pacheco didn't run into his own offensive lineman. We're going to count that as contact. That's a great question. It's a great question, and it needs to be figured out. Were they 9th before contact, a defensive player contacting them, or 9th before contact when Pacheco runs into the back of his offensive lineman, burrowing into the back with his helmet ducked and the ball, tucked away, and then picking up 4 yards and bouncing up really fast and running really quickly back to the huddle.
I told you the happiest people are Kingsley and Creed and Trey for having their backs now less bruised.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. They have less stress on their back. It's a good call, man. It's a great call. 913-912-4810. I need to open up the text line to see what the reaction is. With them signing Kenneth Walker III. Still waiting on any news that may be out there with a cornerback or edge rusher. Because the
Quidipe, Boye Mafe, those guys still out there. Yeah. Obviously, Kobe Bryant, safety. He signed a fairly large deal. But, yeah, it looks like the edge, outside of Jalen Phillips, right, edge has been fairly quiet. Joseph Osai.
But that's really it. It's been a high end and a middle tier.
Yeah, and both went for more than we expected. Like, Adafe Owe still out there as well. Now I bet Owe sees Jalen Phillips and says, well, I want close to that. Right. If not more. I mean, well, more probably you're not going to get, but at least close.
Maybe he's got he's got more of a reason to say, well, look what I did when I got out of Baltimore. And the numbers I put up on that defense when I was sort of let loose at 10.5 sacks from week 6 on. And Jalen Phillips can say, well, look what I did in Philly. That's pretty good. It's a fine player, right, in Philly. I helped him with the pass rush. I was like, I had 10.5. I had 3 in the playoffs.
I almost forgot he even played for Philly, Jalen Phillips.
Yeah.
I still think it was the Dolphins.
Jalen Phillips.
And they traded a 3rd-round pick to get him, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm intrigued to see how that goes. Jalen Watson, I mean, I don't know your guys' thoughts on that. Watson got about in line with what I thought contract-wise.
Yeah.
I thought anywhere from 15 to 18, so maybe slightly higher. But, like, I still thought that maybe he could have got 3 for 54. So I think 51 was pretty much in line with my thought process of Jalen Watson. Are you surprised the Chiefs didn't bring him back at that number, or are they just, again, this is the same thing we talked about. They just do not bring back second contract corners.
I mean, I think they may be looking at other areas. Like, do they reallocate some of the resources from outside corner with McDuffie and Watson to then focus and pay for a slot corner? And then Noel Williams and Christian Fulton, who primarily play outside. That's what Noel Williams does. Christian Fulton's been an outside corner. That you leave those guys outside. And then as you assess the market with Brian Cook, is Shamari Connor a guy that's going to have to be moved back to safety and take the spot of Brian Cook if you spend money on a slot corner? Or are you letting Watson walk because maybe you feel good about a cornerback in the first 40 picks to take that spot? Or maybe you feel good about addressing the defensive line to such a degree that the cornerback won't be as important because you're going to wreak havoc on the opposing quarterback. That would be great, but you also need guys to go out there and cover. Look, if we talk about Kenneth Walker and one of the negatives is, well, hold on, if the Seahawks didn't want to sign him to that deal, then is he really worth it to sign for anybody else? Good point. But then to the same degree, if you're the Rams, well, if the Chiefs didn't want to bring back Jalen Watson at that price and they don't have Trent McDuffie, they would know as well as anybody of what he can offer. And I think the Chiefs are essentially saying what Jalen Watson gave them, they can find and coach from somebody else not making $17 million per year.
And they've shown this time and time again. I mean, they really, I mean, I'll just even start with Travarius to Legarius and then Trent and then Jalen Watson.
No Thacarius.
And then, I mean, Noel Williams looks to be the next in line of this tree. And I think you count on Christian Fulton to be a good player. And again, do the Chiefs look at Watson saying, hey, we know he was really good last year, but he's also had a lot of injuries in his career. He's played through a lot, and you tip your cap, but we think that he might be kind of like Legarius, where it's is there some concern health-wise long-term if you give him that big of a deal? I don't know if that's the case or not, but I mean, it's fair to at least wonder because of the amount of injuries that Watson has sustained. And again, he was a 7th rounder. Travarius was a UDFA. Legarius was a 4th. They find guys, develop them, and turn them into studs. The Chiefs, I'm assuming, are saying, hey, we can do this again. Dave Merritt and Spags, this is going to be a lot of pressure on them. This is a lot of trust in their system. And then I guess the final talking point of this, does this change your viewpoint of if they bring back Cook or not?
Yeah.
Because if you lose all 3, that is...
It's a real overhaul in the secondary.
Yes.
But I'd be for it. I'd be for it.
Depending on what Brian Cook's going to sign for. Sheil Kapadia tweets out, and this is looking at it from the opposite side of Kenneth Walker. Says, I know the Chiefs' running game needs to be more explosive, but if Reed is my coach and Mahomes is my QB and I have limited resources, I'm not spending $15 million per year on a running back day 1 of free agency. I'm taking day 2, day 3 draft dart throws and waiting for the second wave of free agency. So essentially what they've already done the last few years is what he's saying.
Wow.
Okay, there's that's a wow as in like what happened.
Breaking news.
Does we need to play the breaking news sounder? And we just did.
Creed Humphrey is no longer close to being the highest paid center in football.
He is the highest paid center?
Not anymore.
Oh.
Not even close. Ravens free agent center Tyler Lindenbaum reached an agreement today on a record deal with the Raiders.
Ooh.
3-year, $81 million contract.
My God, really?
$60 million guaranteed. Highest paid interior offensive lineman. That's over that's over guards.
$27 million for a center?
Correct. Creed was 20, right?
That's got to be a typo by Adam Schefter, right? I mean
that's drastic.
That's got to be right.
The Raiders just love to mess stuff up.
I mean,
they had a bunch of cap space.
Unless it's wrong, unless Schefter had a typo.
That seems so crazy that I'm almost going to hold out until there's another report.
Why did you hear me say whoa?
I know, yeah, right. I get it. Diana Rossini, top offensive lineman on the market. Linderbaum cashes in with a 3-year deal worth $81 million, $60 million guaranteed.
That's what we call the Raiders tax.
I mean, good God, man.
I mean, that's the center market.
Yeah.
Was Creed Humphrey, wide gap, then second.
Yeah. And now Creed Humphrey is a decent gap between number 1 and number 2.
By AAV, Creed was 1 at 18. Cam Jurgens was second, and then Connor McGovern was third with 13.
Creed signed 4 for 72.
Yeah.
This is 3 for 81.
That's $9 million more per year.
That's unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Looks like Tyler Algier will be getting 2 years, $12 million.
So then the Algier Kenneth Gainwell combo comes down. It would have been $13 million.
Would have been $13 million to go, quote unquote, cheaper with Algier, Kenneth Gainwell, to combine those to go cheaper on the market for 2 running backs as opposed to going and shopping in the ETN or Kenneth Walker waters. $12 million. The Cardinals are signing Tyler Algier. 2 years, $12 million. Kenneth Gainwell signed 2 years, $14 million. So $13 million combined for Algier and Kenneth Walker, or $14 million for Kenneth Walker. Like, it'd be different if you're talking about Kenneth Walker's $14 million. Boy, you could have got Kenneth Gainwell and Algier for a combined $10 million and then used $4 million somewhere else. But no, it's 13, and or maybe even looking at a little bit cheaper than that.
I cannot get over this contract that was signed by Tyler Lindenbaum. He's $3 million more over the next highest paid guard.
All right, we'll take a timeout, and it's not a typo because others have reported it as well that it's 3 years and $81 million.
That's $500,000 less than Trent Williams.
It's $9 million more than Creed Humphrey.
Per year. Not like over the course of 3. Per year.
We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue Rolling More Zone next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy. Heading up until 2 o'clock. We got Learn Funniest Best coming up in the next hour. Funniest might be Linderbaum making $9 million more per year than Creed Humphrey as a center. But teams that have been spending a lot of money, the Raiders just spent some money. Rams have spent some money on Trent McDuffie and also Jalen Watson. Remember we told you about the 7 teams that have to spend extra money to be cap compliant with the CBA, that over a rolling 3-year average, you have to spend at least 90% of the salary cap over 3 years. And so there are 7 teams that, to match the 90%, will be forced to spend a pretty decent amount of money this year. In fact, some of them spend approximately $50 million in new contracts. Those teams: the Jets, the Saints, the Seahawks, the Raiders, the Rams, the Chargers, and the Titans. So the Rams have been spending money on cornerback, and the Raiders just spent a lot of money on the best free agent center out there to help their rookie quarterback in Mendoza, and they have to spend the money anyway. So I guess, but who are they bidding against? Who's countering with Linderbaum going, no, we'll give you 24 per year. No, we'll give you 25 per year. No, we'll give you 26. No, we'll give you 27. Who are they negotiating? Who's going to give the center 25 or 26 million to make it go up to 27?
Themselves.
Probably.
I mean, that's absurd. I'm just...
Yeah, I
33% more per year versus Creed.
There's going to be a ripple effect, too, now on what tackles are making, what guards are making, because if a center is making $27 million a year, then a guard or a left tackle is going to say, well, I'm worth about $5 or $6 million more per year than a center.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. It's crazy money, but it's also what you're doing when you're dealing in the free agent market, and it's why the Chiefs overpaid for Kenneth Walker III, which has, by the way, mixed reaction, whether that be locally or nationally.
I don't get it.
I think it's the amount of money for Kenneth Walker that
I get that part, but I mean,
yeah.
I think there's still some devaluing of the running back position. And I guess to me, I don't think the national folk understand what this does for the rest of the offense. I don't think the national media understands how many light boxes
I agree
Patrick
with that.
faced and how much this changes and updates the, I think, philosophy of the Chiefs offense. Like, I don't think that that's far reaching.
Yeah. I think if this draft running class was stacked and it was like, man, you can get a stud runner in the mid-20s or even early second round because there are so many of them this year.
Sure.
As opposed to it's Jeremiah Love and then who knows, anybody else, maybe they're not paying $14 million. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy. Travis Etienne is heading down south. He's from Louisiana, and he's going to play for the New Orleans Saints. I have not seen a number yet on Etienne so far, because we're going to obviously be comparing that to Kenneth Walker's number. Wan'Dale Robinson is also heading to the Tennessee Titans. He's rejoining Brian Daboll.
Yes, I love that the Titans are like, you know what? It was so good in New York. Daboll's our OC now.
Yeah.
Let's get Daniel Bellinger, the Giants tight end. Let's get Wan'Dale. Let's make Giants South.
Yeah, let's do that.
I am befuddled by this.
Yes.
Good player, though. I like Wan'Dale.
Yep. You had Wan'Dale on your list of free agents that you did not pick him, though, right? No, you picked Romeo Doubs. You selected Romeo Doubs in our draft. Right now, all we have is one. Michael Darcy is the only one with one in our draft. We had 7 rounds of free agents that we thought the Chiefs would go out and get to see of the 21.
Breaking news.
Okay.
Did anyone have... I don't know how to pronounce this.
Kyrus Tonga?
Kyrus Tonga. I didn't know if it was Chris or Kyrus. It was a wild way to spell Chris. Kyrus Tonga.
From the Patriots?
Correct. Wow.
They had him valued at about $7.5 million per year. Do we know what the contract is for Tonga?
3 for 21.
Wow.
To where?
To Kansas City.
The Chiefs.
Okay. I did not know that.
Well, now you do.
Wow.
ETN 4 years, $52 million, so $13 million per year. So $1.3 million per year, less than Kenneth Walker. So there we go. If you're wondering about Kyrus Tonga,
I am.
or Kyrus Tonga, played with the Patriots. He's 30 years old. And a guy that, we like our friend Matt Lane with KCSN, and he put a big exclamation point and saying heck yeah for Tonga being signed by the Chiefs. One of his top high fits for the Chiefs. He had Roy Lopez, Logan Hall, Tonga, Gallimore, Fatukasi, and DJ Reader, the 6 that he felt were the high fits for the Kansas City Chiefs.
I am befuddled. It feels very high for a guy who has a half sack in his NFL career.
Well, yeah, but is that what he's there for?
No.
I mean,
he's not, but typically you don't pay that much money for a run stuffer.
But the Chiefs need help there.
They do. I'm not.
He's 6'2", 340. They need help at stopping the run badly. I had them taking Roy Lopez because it was specifically for that reason, that they need somebody to help stop the run, to help limit. I mean, honestly, if you're paying the money to Nick Bolton, how about allow him to be Nick Bolton and not constantly having to shed blockers while he's, working in the run game?
No, I don't argue there. I guess just for me, it just seemed a lot of money for a very specific skill set type of player. We'll see. I'm not mad about it, but it just felt like I would have used that money on Boye Mafe or
Maybe,
Kwity
but you still, you still have to find. Well, if they signed Roy Lopez to that money, would it be different? I mean, I just think they needed it. It's right around the going rate and the value for him. And some have him as better than Roy Lopez at stopping the run or being that interior defensive tackle. And
what would John Franklin Myers get? Again, different player. He's more like a pass rushing.
Yeah, but you're doing. He's going to get a lot of money.
Yeah,
I think he's going to get a lot of money. It's one of the players that, like, if you're looking at free agents and you're trying to find different teams, what they think of that. A couple of weeks ago, there was a list of players the Patriots shouldn't let go, and Tonga was on the list of this is a player that the Patriots should re-sign because of what he meant to their run defense. The Chiefs need help at defensive tackle.
Yeah.
And I'm fine if it's the market value of, 2 years, 15 was sort of the market value for him. It's 3 for 21. So right around what they thought it was going to be on a 2-year deal. For somebody that you don't have to worry about Pennell and Noddy anymore, you put him at defensive tackle,
Sure.
and you can stop. And now, if you want to go interior defensive lineman that rushes the passer, great.
Well, now maybe don't mess with Norman Lott. You can get back to his normal weight
Yes.
to be a pass rusher instead of a
He can be Omar Norman Lott.
instead of just Omar weighs a lot, because
They tried,
that's what they try to make him do.
unfortunately. So you're piecing together the Chiefs' defense. So now, if the Chiefs, and this is where we talk about going into the season or going into the first day of the draft, having a team that Brett Veach looks at and says, well, if we had to play a game today, could we field a roster out there? And the answer right now is yes to all of those things. They have their running back in Kenneth Walker. They have their tight end in Travis Kelce. They now have a defensive line that if they had to play today would be Karlaftis, Tonga, Jones, and Gelati. Not, inducing fear to the opposing quarterback on the edge. But again, this is just the beginning of it. We're talking about specifically right now. You'd have your outside corners and Noel Williams and Christian Fulton, CRW playing slot, and then you'd have Hicks and Connor at safety with Bolton and Tranquil there at linebacker and Bossa if need be, or Cooper McDonald. You'd be able to, and Jalen Moore at right tackle, you'd be able to field a team right now and say we're going to go out there and play with these particular players compared to all the other teams in the league too. You still have more free agency to go. There's still going to be something at safety and cornerback we expect, and you have 3 top 40 picks, 4 in the top 74 that you can start to add real difference-making playmakers to that because you added a difference-making playmaker on offense already.
Do we think that at this point Drew Tranquil has made it through? Is he going to play the final year out on the contract, or
It's a good question. I'm not sure.
would he have been gone by now? I mean, I guess that's my question is, I know my thoughts. I said keep Drew Tranquil for 1 more year, just let him play out the contract because I still think he's a very solid player.
Yeah.
I don't think you're getting the value elsewhere unless you trust Bossa that much. I don't think they do. Clearly by the end of last year.
I just think he's lost, but conversation for a different time. But go ahead.
Yeah, I guess for me, I do wonder if we would have heard him being released by now.
Yeah,
And he hasn't been, so I wanted that screams he's back 1 more year as a red shirt for Bossa.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't really heard anything with Leo, so I'm assuming Cooper McDonald will take over that role.
Yeah,
We'll see. I'm just, I guess, just thought of that with Drew Tranquil yet to have been talked about as far as any rumblings of a release. That probably, at least to me, leads me to believe that he's probably going to finish that contract out.
Yeah, I mean, it may be to where they get into conversations with other players and they need to free up some more cap space because they do have that convertible money that they still can go in and do that, and they can release Noah Gray if need be. They can release Drew Tranquil if need be. You could save some money there against the cap because all of these signings, remember, they're still going to need about $12.5–13 million
what
on
was
their
that
draft
number?
class. It was about anywhere from 12
Well,
to
it
13.
changed a little bit with
Yeah, but adding in the pick
Yeah.
number 29 and the 5th and the 6th rounder, you're looking at anywhere from $12 to $13 million. Let's just look at it like that, that you're going to need from your salary cap to sign your rookie class. Now, you move around a little bit. You trade 40 and 74 for pick 22, and now you pick 9, 22, and 29. Okay, well, now it would have to adjust from there, too. But we'll see. That's coming up in April.
the Chiefs' rookie pool now is nearly $18 million.
Really?
17.9 according to Over the Cap. That's the rookie pool.
Interesting.
The cap space is different because what the cap space is the rookie pool minus what a basically veteran minimum would be. The $885,000.
Yeah.
So it's
The cap hit is
$10 million.
The cap hit is $12.2 million for the draft pool for now. Actually, that's not the case because it does not have. That's it. Spot Track doesn't have pick 29. So, thanks a lot, Spot Track. I mean, the trade was done a while ago. How about updating that?
So over the cap is just under 18 mil. It says 17.9. That's the rookie pool. That's what it says. What I'm looking at.
Yeah, but that would be that's adding $5 million to pick.
That's adding 29 and then
29. Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah,
that would make sense. So yeah, that's adding $5 million. So it was about 12.2 before that. So 5.6 for pick number 9, 2.2 for pick number 40. So it'd be right around 3 or 4 million in between there, and then fifth rounders are going for around $1 million. So yeah, you would be adding $5 million, about $17 million in a cap hit, roughly. Now you can do some different things with that.
Of course,
you can do upfront signings and move that over the course of a contract, and space that out for different players. Doesn't have to be that specific cap hit this year, but that's roughly what you're looking at of what you would need to be able to sign your draft class, about $17 million. So there you go.
And again, it's only about 10 million more because you're doing they're replacing a veteran minimum player. You would have to have that filled out either way, but that is what the overall number will be, is nearly 18 million.
Yeah. So there you go. I wish I would have gone. Obviously, I wish I would have gone Tonga instead of Roy Lopez in my draft for free agents.
You dumbass.
But my second pick and my third pick were defensive tackle and running back. I just
you're not gonna like this one.
What? Oh no.
Raiders signed wide receiver Jalen Naylor.
That sucks.
3-year, $35 million, $23 million guaranteed.
That sucks.
Is that a number you'd have been in on, or is that a number that would have been?
What was it?
3-year, $35 million.
Man, I didn't expect Jalen Naylor to go for almost $12 million per year.
Yeah,
but I think it's a great signing.
Raiders now,
but they have tons of money that they have to spend,
and they're going to have a rookie contract with the quarterback.
Yeah, and they've got it. They're one of the 7 teams again that has to spend a lot of money to get to the 90% CBA in the 3-year. Having to be 90% of the salary cap over 3 years. They've got to spend a lot more money. They did it with center, and now they went and signed Jet. That's an annoyingly good signing for the Raiders. That's what that is. Overpaying for Linderbaum. Okay, you need a center for your quarterback, and you paid stupid amount of money for it. But signing Jalen Naylor to a reasonable contract sucks. I don't want them to, because I don't want. Now, you add this guy with the quarterback, with Bowers, with Genty. You've got a nice core for that offense, and you're adding into the offensive line.
But the thing is
you're moving your center to guard.
Raiders.
I agree.
It's like you have to account for Jets. You have to account for Raiders. They'll do something dumb.
Yeah. And they're also going to have the 2 first-rounders for Max Crosby and not have to pay him that money, which we haven't even talked about.
Oh, yeah,
the Ravens, giving up 2 first-rounders for Max Crosby and paying, a guy who's 29, going to be 30 soon, and a defensive end. I mean, a nice addition. It's just, is he going to play quarterback in the playoffs?
Can he stay healthy?
Well, I mean, I think he's been pretty healthy, and he wanted to play at the end.
Yeah, I think there was the Raiders shutting him down.
And they wanted the number 1 pick, and oddly enough, they got it while also beating the Chiefs there at the end, so they still got the number 1 pick in Mendoza. I think we talk about people joking. Can Kenneth Walker rush the passer? Is he going to be able to rush the passer if he's out there? Come on, man. Okay. Can Max Crosby play quarterback in the playoffs? Here are the players who have brought back 2 first-round picks in return. So let's see. Tell me which one of these have been worth it.
Well, I think I can guess. I mean, it's Sauce Gardner.
So Max Crosby, Sauce Gardner, Micah Parsons,
yep,
Russell Wilson, Matthew Stafford, Laramie Tunsil, Jamal Adams.
Yeah, I was going to say Jamal Adams was the outlier. That was so bad.
Khalil Mack, Jalen Ramsey, Jay Cutler, Ricky Williams, Keyshawn Johnson, Jeff George, Eric Dickerson, and Herschel Walker. It goes back a long way. So if we look at like the recent times, Khalil Mack got the Raiders got 2 first-rounders for Khalil Mack to the Bears.
They both messed that up. The Raiders drafted.
Jamal Adams was bad.
Jamal Adams was horrendous. That was dumb at the time.
Tunsil was dumb. Russell Wilson was bad. Sauce Gardner was bad. Micah Parsons
looks fine.
With the
Matthew
ACL.
Stafford works because
went and won a Super Bowl.
they won a Super Bowl.
And now we'll see with Max Crosby. At least Micah Parsons is younger, though. Like, you're trading 2 first-rounders for Micah Parsons, and you've got 3 years.
Max is 28.
So how old is Micah?
No, he's probably 26.
Well, then how old is Michael Parsons?
Yeah, he's 26. Micah Parsons, 26. Going to be 27. Max is 28. Going to be 29.
Yeah. So he's got 2 years on him. So we'll see if it works out for the Ravens. We'll find out. Yes, Max Crosby makes a difference on defense for the Ravens. What they did, though, was trade 2 first-rounders for a position that they can't figure out on their own. Where the Chiefs have done a great job of drafting cornerbacks and developing, they haven't been so hot at drafting wide receivers and developing. The Ravens have really struggled at finding edge rushers, drafting and developing them. In fact, they had Odafe Owe on their team. He had 0 sacks in 5 games. They traded him to the Chargers. The rest of the season in the playoffs, he had 10.5 sacks. What were they doing that the Chargers did differently? I don't know. Well, now Jesse Minter goes to Baltimore, and he's got Max Crosby. So whatever he did with Odafe Owe, he can now do with Max Crosby. But they have had issues drafting and developing and finding the right guys to play edge.
Well, part of it was Matabike.
Yeah, but as a defensive tackle, though. I'm
No,
talking about
I know, but
specifically edge.
just defensive line in general.
Right, I'm talking about specifically just edge rushers.
Matabike was their Chris Jones, and did he retire because of his neck?
I don't think so.
No, he was just out for the year.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think they're still planning on him returning next year.
Is he coming back next year?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know what happened with that.
No, I'm pretty sure he's part of the plans moving forward.
Because as of 6 days ago, they talked about his uncertain future.
Yeah. So apparently 3 days ago there was a workout video by Nnamdi Madubuike. So I don't know. But, yeah, they gave up 2 first-rounders for Max Crosby. I wish he was out of the AFC, quite frankly.
Yeah.
I would like him to have been traded to an NFC team. That would have been great. But he goes to the Ravens, not a team in division, so the Chiefs don't have to see him. That's fine. And we'll see if the Ravens get the value out of him in giving up a couple of first-rounders, including the number 14 pick this year. Chris Jones tweeting out 17 seconds ago the tweet from Kenneth Walker, and Chris Jones says, "Oh, ship, ... Only, I don't think he said ship.
Chip.
It was a different word. ... He also tweeted an hour ago when Travis Kelce news that he was returning. Chris Jones tweeted out, "We're so back. We are back. We are getting Trav back. And we are the 3 best friends that anybody could have."
The Chiefs are so back.
Yeah.
They're so back.
We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, and we will get into Learn Funniest Best and talk about some of the other moves that may come down by the time that we get this thing started, and at least Learn Funniest Best. And then when we are done, trying to look up some of the other numbers on this particular Tonga contract. But we'll take a timeout, come back. More Zone next. All right, we get to learn funniest best here. I did want to look at this with Kyrus Tonga signing with the Chiefs. By the way, he also lined up 15 times last year at fullback for the New England Patriots. So a huge fan favorite in New England. And remember when the Chiefs traded for Burgert, when they traded Freddie Fermin, and they got Burgert, and they got Kolick in that deal? And we looked at the Padres fans' reaction of everybody was pissed about Burgert being traded. Like, why would you give up Burgert? I can't believe it. I wouldn't give up Burgert just for Fermin, but then you throw in somebody else. And we're like, oh, that's pretty cool, that the fans are mad about that. Savage Boston tweets out that Kyrus Tonga is going to the Kansas City Chiefs. So the reaction from Patriots fans, no, this is awful. Writing was on the wall. Go get your bag, big man. So long, Tonga, crying emoji. Are we actually going to sign anybody? Cursing emoji 20 different times. Yeah, this is now going to be a terrible offseason if he's not returning. F. What the F? Okay, we're cooked now. All right, I got to stop getting attached to these dudes. My favorite player. Oh, my. Another crying emoji. JFC. Chiefs are going to go back to winning a Super Bowl, aren't they? Sounds about right. We don't do anything in the offseason. Let's see. Why did they not extend him during the season? This was obvious. J. C. Yeah. Losing more talent. Okay, we're getting dusted. Oh, of course it goes to the Chiefs. So
okay, that's
pretty cool.
Good sign, yeah.
Hearing that from Patriots fans. That they really like the player and think that it's a pretty big loss for their team. Pretty much universal that it's a pretty big loss for their team. And a guy who was a fan favorite.
Yeah.
As they said, like one of them was like, all right, I got to stop getting attached to these players. My favorite player gone. So, yeah. And also lining up at fullback, that's fun. We wondered if the Chiefs would sign a fullback. They did.
Can he get out to the quarterback?
They signed.
He can do both.
He can do both.
Yes, he'll. You know what? There are often times where he's literally in the backfield with the quarterback. There are often times when he lines up, like at the snap, he's already in the backfield with the quarterback. Doesn't matter which quarterback. I'm just saying there are plays last year, at least 15 of them, where that ball was snapped and he was already quickly in the backfield for the other team. Anyway, let's get to Learn Funniest Best here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. So the Chiefs signed Dontari Poe, is what we're saying. So let's get Learn Funniest Best. So here's what I learned. My first learned was to keep with the theme of the marathon, since you guys made fun of me last week, that the half marathon time record is broken. That I learned that you can run a half marathon in under an hour.
What?
57 minutes and 20 seconds is now the half marathon record. 14 miles per hour running for 13.1 miles. 4 minutes and 22-second mile for 13.1 miles is now the record for the half marathon that was broken over the weekend.
Dude.
And also I learned, and this is amazing, Italy has an espresso machine in their dugout, which also could be my favorite.
That
in between innings, there's guys going over there and making an espresso. It's so Italy that they have an espresso machine in their dugout.
Good for them.
It is awesome.
I want to be in their dugout.
Right?
Vinny's like, guys, he's going to come back and say, I have an idea for us.
I got a great idea, guys. This was awesome. USA versus Italy tomorrow night.
It's like instead of dip, you just use espresso.
They've got an espresso machine.
You put espresso beans in your lip instead.
There it is. There you go. All right. What did you learn from the weekend, Sterling?
The Dolphins like to troll Tua Tagovailoa. They put a thank you tweet out, and on the right corner where it's the largest, like this for the accomplishments, of Tua, the largest three accomplishments they gave Tua were 6 seasons, 4-time team captain, 1-time Pro Bowler. Like I just want those are the 3 things you're going to give Tua is 6 seasons, 4-time team captain. Is it, you couldn't find anything?
Wow.
Couldn't find anything.
Unbelievable.
6 seasons. 4-time team captain. 1-time Pro Bowler.
That's awesome. Dude.
Thank you, Tua.
That is so great. They didn't put like the most accurate passer. Throws a soft, catchable pass.
In very small letters, very bottom, highest completion percentage and passer rating in franchise history.
Oh, that's
very small letters underneath it all. But they
Take that, Dan Marino.
The 3 things that actually you see, they're loud, it's bold. Team captain, 6 seasons. He played for us. Just hilarity.
Haven't seen numbers on it yet, but Mike Evans heading to the 49ers. Mike Evans heading across country from Tampa, going to San Francisco. And Chris Jones tweeting out a little bit ago, Tonga is a dog. D-A-W-G, which means he's a lot tougher than if it was just D-O-G, it'd be like, oh, good player. D-A-W-G, badass. Tonga is a dog, according to Chris Jones. What did you learn from the weekend, Michael Darcy?
I wonder really quickly if Mike Evans is going to get I heard something that he was wanting or was offered like $27+ million a year, which would be ridiculous.
Alec Pierce is getting himself 30.
I would say that I learned a couple things. A, the Rams just want to replace their secondary with Chiefs players. They're giving $130 million guaranteed between the 2 corners.
Good call.
And not saying that there's fire, but there's some smoke going on with the Chiefs left tackle situation, with the rumors that the Chiefs are interested in the Green Bay left tackle. Trent Williams, who is not released yet. There's a dispute going on in San Francisco. According to Jason LaCanfora, which I don't even know why I'm referencing him on the show, the Chiefs are a team to watch if he gets released. I don't know why we're talking about it, but with Simmons disappearing last year, I think he kind of did that to himself.
Man. The massive amount of money for McDuffie and Watson is really interesting to me. And that the Rams, and now they have money to spend. We said they had the 9th most cap. But what was the number? 137 million?
130 plus.
$130 million in guaranteed dollars for McDuffie and 4 draft picks.
Good for them.
$130 million guaranteed dollars for McDuffie, $130 million in McDuffie and Watson and 4 draft picks.
Good for those 2 guys.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Let's go to the funniest. We start with you, Sterling. Funniest from the weekend.
Yeah, so thanks to Darcy. Andy Kennedy is the head coach of UAB, and this is what he says to reference his point guard, Chance Westry.
You know what, I've said this numerous times. I'm going to say it again in case somebody hasn't heard it, but I would dare to say that I know as much about the history of UAB basketball as, I'm not saying I'm one, but I'm in the top 5. And I think he's I think he's definitely the best facilitator at 6'6" in the history of this program. He is really, really gifted in that regard. I tell him all the time, and I'm not busting balls, so I'll tell you, I think he's terrible in every other aspect. He's asleep off the ball. He doesn't rebound to his size. He's a bad shooter. He looks like he's about to have a stroke every time he runs up and down the floor 2 or 3 times. But he is the most gifted that I've ever coached. He's got a little Yaks quality to him.
Yeah, I love it.
Is he the most gifted? Like
he's the most gifted I've ever coached. Top 5 in UAB facilitator history. But he's asleep off the ball. Doesn't rebound to his size. He's a bad shooter. Looks like he's about to have a stroke every time he runs up and down the floor. But he's the most gifted I've ever coached.
does he like him or not?
He goes, I'm not just trying to bust his balls.
I feel like, well,
Tell me how you really think.
but you know what? It would have been better if he was like, I'm just busting his balls. No, I'm not trying to bust his balls. This is what I think of this man.
Yeah, I'm not busting his balls.
Yes.
He's horrible shooter, can't do anything, but he's the best facilitator in the game. All right? I thought that was just a wild thing from Andy Kennedy. Wild.
That's crazy. I mean, I don't know if the coach likes him or not.
No idea.
Like, if you're a player, is that a compliment? Because that seems like a compliment sandwich. Hey, you're really good at this. Here's where you have to improve and some things we're going to need to see from you. But really awesome at this thing, too. There's your compliment sandwich. We start with the positive, end with the positive, and gave you constructive criticism in the middle. Although, does that qualify as constructive criticism? I'm not sure it does. Funniest for you from the weekend, Michael.
So Sterling had a little get-together at his house on Saturday.
Oh, nice.
And
Thanks for the invite.
There's 18 youngins.
Kyle.
Youngsters.
Okay, cool.
Kyle, producer of the program,
So, now the old guy.
had a couple drinks, and there was a drinking game, and he ended up losing said drinking game.
Oh, yeah.
And essentially, Kyle had to chug a giant what looked like flower vase full of different alcohols.
Okay.
And Easton
Easton really screwed
put a
Kyle
iced
over.
margarita in the beer.
Yeah.
So Kyle is drinking the drink, and it looks disgusting because the margarita was green, but he put it in with the beer.
Yeah, kind of.
And
concoction.
Kyle's first reaction is, ugh, there's ice in it? Not that there was margarita in the beer, but ugh, there's ice in it. He goes, I can't do it. There's ice in it. It's like, Kyle,
That was amazing.
out of
yeah.
all the things, the cold ice sensation is why you can't do it? I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, Easton really screwed
Yeah, he just came
Kyle
over.
over in that game.
I don't even know if we were supposed to put the margarita in the.
I said you can put whatever you want there.
And
You just
Easton is
better
just
hope
like,
you don't
I'm
lose.
just gonna do this.
Easton did it. It's a bold move. Paid off for him. Did not pay off for Kyle.
And Easton just walked away, and Kyle had to deal with it.
Yeah.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. My funniest, I've got a couple of funniest. They're from college basketball this weekend. One of them is, we'll play this Dan Hurley thing in a second, but one of the funniest is Miami of Ohio players, as they're playing Toledo, and they win in overtime to cap off an undefeated regular season at 31-0. And as the clock expires, instead of celebrating with their team and jumping up and down, they run over to the student section to flip them off.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just like, what do you...
Let him know.
Like, they were that much in your head that you just won by 2 in overtime to cap off a 31-0 regular season, and your first reaction is, let's run to the student section and give them the double birds.
It sounds like Miami, Ohio, and Ohio, that rivalry is nuts.
I mean, right? It's unbelievable. But yeah, now they've got to win 3 more games so that there is not a bid thief out of the MAC.
it's probably going to be Akron.
A lot of bubble teams are rooting for Miami of Ohio.
Well,
this
dude,
week. Missouri fans
the
rooting for
MAC
Miami
is
of
good.
Ohio.
The MAC is a good.
It's fine. Yeah.
It's a really solid mid-major. I mean, it is, and there's some teams in there, man, and some good ball play. I mean, if you watch that full game, I watched the full game. It was electric. That game was incredible. What really is the difference between like the SEC or Big 12 and Big 10 in these schools is instead of doing it at 6'6", these guys are 6'2" or 6'3".
Yeah.
They're big guys. Instead of 6'11", they're 6'6". But man, they could shoot. The ball movement was phenomenal. I really enjoyed watching that action on was that Friday night?
Yeah.
I loved watching that.
So one of my other funniest was UConn trailing by 2 to Marquette, 64-62. Clock winding down, driving to the lane. There was contact. It looked like rule of verticality. I didn't slow it down much other than seeing Dan Hurley losing his mind and quite clearly chest bumping the official, moving his chest into the official's arm. He's looking the other way, so he doesn't move his arm to fake. He doesn't know that Hurley is right. Like, his arm moves, and he turns around, and Hurley's there. Tees him up again, kicks him out of the game. Dan Hurley, in such a rage after what he thought was a foul and should be 2 free throws, down by 2, I just has no idea if he may have made contact or not.
I didn't think I bumped the ref. I thought I got close to yelling at John. I mean, if John thinks I bumped him, then he'll say I bumped him, but I don't think that I bumped the official. I think I yelled, into the back of his head, foul. It was obviously a culmination of, how you felt like things went, and then, your frustration with your team and the frustration with not winning what you pursued for 4 months. If I get disciplined for being ejected from a game, I mean, I don't know, did Bill Self get disciplined for getting ejected? No, I've been ejected before, and I've been back out there. It's on my first rodeo.
Hey, Dan, is there something different between your ejection and Bill Self's ejection? I'm trying to see with the I'm trying to look back and see if Bill Self chest bumped the referee. Now, the Big East did their, quote, investigation. And shockingly, with the Big East tournament starting this week, the Big East found that it was inconclusive if Danny Hurley made contact with the official.
He's lucky he's such a good coach because that guy is...
He's a child.
He's a child.
He's a madman. He's a child. And part of the funniest was that they had the double box on the Hurley brothers, and they both picked up a technical when the double box was on the Hurley brothers. Right side, Danny Hurley losing his mind. Left side, Bobby Hurley looking at yelling with the official. He got teed up. Danny Hurley gets ejected. It's like, oh, here are the Hurley brothers, both getting a technical with the double box on them. Danny Hurley getting the double tee for bumping an official. It was pretty obvious that he did. But I just love I didn't think I did. If I did, then if he says I did, then I guess he says I did, that I bumped him. I don't know. I was yelling into the back of his head that there was a foul. Am I going to be suspended? Did they suspend Bill Self for getting ejected? That's not the point there, Dan. They didn't say, are you going to be suspended for getting ejected? It's suspended for making contact with an official, which is typically an immediate minimum 1-game suspension. But the Big East tournament starting this week. If this was January 5th, Hurley would be suspended for a game. Yeah, not a question in my mind. But Big East tournament starting this week, I think they're using kid gloves on their number 1 team in the conference. Not wanting them to lose early again, and now the Big East now has a 2 seed instead of maybe UConn being a number 1. Well, we're not going to hurt our conference darling, so we're certainly not going to suspend Dan Hurley a game. But he doesn't know if he touched him or not. Not sure. Not sure if he did. Best from the weekend, Michael, we start with you.
My best was Melvin Council kissing the floor on senior day. I think, we talked about it a lot. He has been here for like 8 months, and he is already one of the most beloved Jayhawks in recent memory. And, he's, to my knowledge, the first Jayhawk to kiss the court on senior day. I can't really think of a player that had done it and kind of taken that tradition from Michigan State. But I thought it was great to see someone that really embraced the culture. And, based on the last couple of years of Kansas basketball, there wasn't a player that really loved the university. And it seems like, at least on the outside, that Melvin Council loves Kansas.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. My best, unfortunately, in a loss, but I can go with the senior night there. But from Friday night, I'm going to go with my best in the United States taking on Brazil. And Jose Contreras' 17-year-old son, Joseph, high school kid, on the mound for Brazil, facing off against Team USA, and gets Aaron Judge to break his bat and to roll over in a double play with bases loaded to get out of it. And he was asked after the game, is this the highlight of your career? And he said it's second highest after winning the state championship in high school. So this is the second coolest thing in baseball for me. We won the state title this last year in baseball. Getting Aaron Judge to roll over on a double play in the World Baseball Classic is number 2 for Joseph Contreras. I'm guessing he'll be a pretty high draft pick. That Vulcan grip was pretty awesome.
Heading to Vandy.
Yeah, he's signed with Vandy, but boy,
who knows?
Is he going to go to Vandy? What was your best from the weekend, Sterling?
Was that? I don't know anymore.
I love the Vulcan grip, though. And I love the guys that use the Vulcan grip, and as he goes to the mound, he starts with the ball in the grip, so he doesn't have to go and do
Aaron
that.
Gagne, I think, used to throw that Vulcan change.
So he goes up there on the mound as he's getting the sign, that ball's in the Vulcan grip, and then he puts it in the glove and has to switch things around if need be. But that thing has crazy movement.
I'll go Mark Mitchell for my best then, because, that was my best. But, I'll go Mark Mitchell because that senior day performance was phenomenal.
So good,
he has grown in so much at Missouri and seems like such a good dude. And he seems like, again, kind of like Melvin Council. He was there longer, but just that he really cares about Missouri and coming from Duke, and you didn't know. You're like, okay, is he coming here for the money? Is he? But he never wavered. There was never even a question about him leaving after last year. And I really like Mark Mitchell, and he feels very old school basketball in a new age of college basketball.
I hope there's more than 2 games left for Mark Mitchell's career.
I would agree. Yeah,
those 2 guys are why we love college sports.
Yeah,
correct.
I totally agree. And by the way, why we love college sports, those 2 guys, they're both transfers. They've played a combined 3 years at their school. And it's like, wow, you become attached to guys. It doesn't take a lot to become attached to guys. It depends how they play and what they mean to that particular team. So, yeah, it was awesome to see his performance. Would have been nice in a win.
Yeah. Trent Burns, he got it off. It would have been good. Before the
Trent Pierce, not Burns.
was at the very end of
regulation.
I thought it was Burns.
No, it was Pierce that had it, but he thought the game was over because the red
the
light
red
went off, so he just
yeah,
threw it back,
threw it
up,
back up there
and missed it, not knowing that the red light was the shot clock and there was still a second left to go on the game. That sucked. That was a little bit of a lack of awareness because he was like, whatever, just it's an easy putback. It's the win right there. Just catch it, put it back. Nobody around you, but you see the red around the basket, and that sucks. All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue roll, and we'll get the latest as to what's happening in free agency. The Chiefs, big players today in free agency so far. Legal tampering period. This is not free agency, okay? It's been 2 hours and 48 minutes of legal tampering. Okay, these are not free agent signings at all. These are just allowed to legally tamper with people. More Zone next. Free agency frenzy going on. Chiefs have signed Kenneth Walker III. 3 years, $43 million for Kenneth Walker. $28.7 million of that is going to be guaranteed. The Chiefs have signed Kyrus Tonga. 3 years, $21 million. Defensive tackle to stuff the run. I was hoping they would sign a defensive tackle that would stop the run because I'm tired of the Noddy and Pennells, every year. And saying, it's you can get a little something, like put somebody there at the defensive tackle spot, know that he's going to be an anchor and take up a couple of blocks or reset the line of scrimmage, depending on who's trying to block him. And he did that in the AFC Championship game a couple of times against the Denver Broncos for the New England Patriots. So they've signed a couple of those guys. Jalen Watson is a Los Angeles Ram, rejoining Trent McDuffie to play cornerback. Got a lot of money. Good for him. Mike Evans is heading to San Francisco. Alec Pierce re-signed with the Colts. They traded Michael Pittman to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jalen Phillips is a Carolina Panther, 4 years, $120 million, 80 of that guaranteed. We'll see what other moves the Chiefs will make as the day goes on, but they certainly need help at edge, and cornerback, and safety, etc.
ETN's contract came down now.
Okay, ETN was what?
4 for 52.
So 13. So ETN got $13 million per year. Kenneth Walker got 14.3 per year. So $1.3 million more. Did they have the guaranteed dollars for ETN that are there? Because it's 3 years, 28.7 guaranteed for Kenneth Walker.
Let me see if I can find that. Sorry, all I have.
No, you're
was
fine. You're good. I didn't know if maybe they had that guaranteed dollar, because that would be certainly part of it too. The Steelers have just signed Jamal Dean. So there's a cornerback if the Chiefs were looking at cornerback off the market. The Ravens have decided, not to offer a free agent tender to Keaton Mitchell, running back.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that. I don't see guaranteed anywhere for ETN. I just see the 4 for 52.
There we go. So now you got Kenneth Walker hooking up with Eric Bieniemy.
Whoa.
Hope that is as successful as we certainly think it could be. We'll find out. And we'll see about some of these free agents that the Chiefs have. I mean, a couple of safeties have been signed. Not Brian Cook.
Watson gone.
Watson's
McDuffie
gone.
We'll see if Brian Cook comes back. If
Right.
that was a way to save him.
Right. Or if the Chiefs make a move, what happens with Leo Chenal? There's other things to be seen over the next number of days. Program next.